What's going on, YouTubenites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box presents the Cover Price End of the Year Report. We got a lot of stuff to get to, so let's get right to it. Bullshit. You know I'm going to play some music while you guys are congregating. Let's get to hear the word. Happy New Year, my fellow troglodytes. We got a full panel here. Some of the most knowledgeable people we have over 100 years of collecting experience, so don't take our word for it. Take our experience for it. First on the screen, JB from Discovery Bay Comics. Say what's good.
How you doing, everybody? It's JB. I'm actually on vacation here in Florida. What? Crazy, but I'm here for the best, most amazing list. There's like 80-something books on this list. Sit back, relax, pour yourself a cocktail, and get ready for one hell of a show.
And one part of the Omni Bros, Gabe Loves Comics. Say what's up, Gabe.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in. Today, let's talk about the craziest year ever in comic book sales. So let's talk about that data, talk about that experience, and what's going to happen for 2022. Is it going to keep going crazy or what? I think it's going to go crazy. We've just started. It's going nuts.
Speaking about crazy, a.k.a. Jack, Mr. Bolo, say what's up.
Oh, what's going on, Lords? Excited to be here. Definitely happy to review the year that was in comics. It was a big year.
And following up, my fellow Dark Side Jedi
Speaking
Lord.
of big years, here we go. I had a big year myself, gained a few pounds like everybody did. Some COVID weight, if you want to put it that way. Hey, how about Book of Boba Fett? Man, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So next week, what's the over-under on Star Wars books?
We'll see after next Tuesday
right?
show. We'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, a lot of other news dropped too. So, as always, this show is sponsored by our friends over at CovrPrice.com. Go to Price Guides, Collections, and Trends. And this here end of year annual report. This is the second year we've done this. Last year, it took us about 2 hours to do it. We had Matt and John and CovrPrice join us, but we pared it down. We're just going to go off the website and kind of give you the quick and dirty. You can kind of see And it's more of a generality of what was sold throughout the year, so we can kind of see. And you know what? If you read the tea leaves correctly, you see what happened in the previous year. Sometimes you can see what happens in the upcoming year. This show is also sponsored by our friends over at KRScomics.com. If you didn't, you still have a chance to get this Amazing Spider-Man number 88, the In-Hook Lee variant that dropped. The signed covers set are sold out, but cover A and the unsigned sets are still available. This is the first appearance, I believe, of, is it Queen Goblin or Goblin Queen? One of the two. It's not to be confused with the Madeline Pryor one. Also, nothing's dropping tomorrow. I lied. Boom. Natalie Sanders, Tech 1050 drops Friday at noon, 9 Eastern. Use discount code LOTLB to save yourself some McRib money. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is, I believe, Tech 1050, Natalie Sanders, dropping tomorrow on KRS Comics. Use discount code LOTLB at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. So make sure you that. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys sub up, man. You know, subs been kind of slow recently, but we want to build up. I'm going to do an FOC show eventually this year as well, too. Maybe get some Gabe or Jack or anybody who wants to do a FOC show with me. We're going to do a FOC, a weekly show, but only 5, you know. Not going to do a top 10 FOC because this would be too big. I mean, the top 5 FOC is probably more important in the collecting world. Also, if you're chilly, get yourself a Lords of Longbox hoodie. Head over to the geekyswagshop.com. Use discount code LOTLB to get yourself a pullover or a zip-up hoodie. Both Ryan and I are sporting ours.
It's downright cold where I'm at.
Yes, it is. As I said, this is the CovrPrice Year in Review. As you know, CovrPrice is all about tracking actual, real sales data for graded and raw comics. Work hard on accurately gathering sales across multiple marketplaces to give you the best fair market value estimates, i.e. FMVs, for your comics updated on a daily basis. In 2021 alone, we tracked the value of just over 3 million copies, collectively representing, get this, $130.2 million worth of comics sold across aftermarket platforms. That's almost double CovrPrice's numbers from 2020, which was 75 million. As you can imagine, tracking this many sales in just 1 year allows us to provide our members with this rare end-of-year perspective. So make sure you sign up for CovrPrice.com. $6.99 a month, man. It's nothing. You can buy more. You know, well, I mean, ribs unfortunately stopped. I went to McDonald's today and I was very disappointed. While some of these trends are obvious, there were plenty of surprises too. So below, you're going to see 2 categories, each broken into 3 lists. Comics that were sold the most units. Well, you know what? Let me just share the screen now so you guys can see what I am talking about here. As I seamlessly transition into the year in review. And then I got to take this picture down. And then I got to do whatever.
Too much clicking.
It's seamless.
I have like 27 tabs open.
It's happening behind the scenes right now. It's magic.
It is here. So you guys don't need to see our ugly mugs on here. So here's how it's broken down into these categories. Okay. Comics that sold the most units in 2021, all graded and raw, variants, subsequent printings, meaning second, third, fourth, fifth print, newsstand as opposed to regular, direct market. Comics that had the highest sales volume in 2021, all graded variants, subsequent printings, and newsstands. Hope you enjoyed the list before and get a good, hard data, non-curated, agenda-free view of where the comic book aftermarket went last year. So when we say that, hey, don't blame us if these books aren't listed. You guys bought them.
Yep. The numbers is the numbers, man.
I love that.
Yeah, so CovrPrice also says, please note, although we do a pretty darn good job of gathering sales data, that's what we do. We don't capture 100% sales of all the time that have taken place across the comic book aftermarket. That said, you can safely assume the actual sales data and values are likely even higher than what we're reporting below.
What you want to do, I would assume, is sign up for a CovrPrice.com subscription. And when you sell a book off a site, like at a con or in your backyard, there's a choice to put in the dollar value of what that book sold for. I'm assuming they can track it that way, right?
No, I mean they don't use the CovrPrice as a market tool. They have to use actual sales data. So because you can say,
so they don't track if I sell a book and put what I sold
maybe
it for.
Maybe in the future, but that would kind of be commingling of their own stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, because CovrPrice doesn't really sell anything, so they really can't. So they have to use legitimate sales places like eBay, Heritage,
that makes more sense.
My Comic
I'll tell you
Shop,
what,
things like that.
if you sell a book on eBay, there's a good chance if it was a record breaker, you're going to see that sale show up on the Shakers list.
I've seen some of our guys have had shows showing up on there. So, all right, this is a 2021 comics that sold the most units. Our first set of lists highlights which comics sold the most units in 2021. In other words, we counted all the sales we collected for each comic and ranked ordered them below. So also, just for some fun, we're just showing you their total sales added up to. So not only the amount of units sold, but how many sales. So there's a lot of data that went into this. So our first set of lists highlights the standard covers or direct editions, non-variants, non-subsequent prints that broadly sold the most copies throughout the years. This takes into account both graded and raw sales. So this is both graded and raw sales. What do we got up first, JB?
All right. Well, I'm going first, and the first book up is Amazing Spider-Man issue 361, originally published in 1992 from Marvel Comics, and there was a total units sold of 1,099 units sold last year. You ready though? The sales volume 463,916, and I actually contributed to this because I must have sold at least 4 of these on eBay.
Yeah,
Well
so
done,
I mean,
sir, well done.
yeah, right. I mean, it seemed to be Venom, Let There Be Carnage was forever delayed, and then it finally came out, and and then it kind of pootered away. But prior to that lead up to it, I mean, a good year to lead up to it, a lot of people were going kind of crazy on the Carnage. I mean, after the film, I don't know. I mean, other Spider books have kind of taken off since Let There Be Carnage, but with Venom appearing in the end game or No Way Home end credit scene, spoiler alert, for the 2 people on this planet who haven't seen No Way Home yet, there could be more Venom on the list. So number 10 on this list is of many. So if you want to play at home, feel free. You're going to be doing up a lot. But these are the most units sold. So number 10 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man of 361. Speaking of the before mentioned Venom, what do we got next, Gabe?
All right, coming up next is number 9, Venom Lethal Protector, number 1. Another great 90s comic from Marvel from 1993. We got a total units sold of $1,172. And that's a combined total value of sales sitting at $64,000, $661.99.
Who would have thunk it? Let me throw a number out there. In 2007, that this book would be on this list, right?
Nobody.
I mean, nobody.
This book was in a dollar bin in 2007.
Yeah, this book was always kind of like a joke for a while and things like that. And again, this is just the standard cover, so we're not talking about like the error variant.
Yeah, the white. Was it the white cover or the black or the Toy Biz has a variant, or is that? No, I'm sorry. Keep on thinking of Spider-Man 2009.
There's an error variant, I think.
There's a
There is
definitely
an error variant. I think it's all black. But
it's
think
all
about this.
black variant. Yeah.
I watched the movie on the flight over. I don't think I've ever heard the word Lethal Protector said so many times in a movie before. He must have said Lethal Protector like 20 freaking times during that movie between Venom and him. It's ridiculous.
Which is a lot because it's only a 90-minute movie. I mean, it's one of the fastest
How
movies
many times did they say it? It was over and
I
over
swear to
again.
God. I went to the bathroom in the middle of the movie. I came back and the movie was done. And it wasn't even a number 2. I went number 1. So, all right. Venom Lethal Protector for most units sold. Number 9 on the list. Number 8 on the list. What do we got? That's you, JB. Or Jack.
Yep, here we've got the Eternals number 1 from Marvel, published in 1976. Now, this moved 1,305 total units with a total value of $412,171.98.
That's not bad at all, man. I personally thought this. I still think this book is undervalued, to be honest with you.
100% agree. 100%
Yeah.
agree.
This took a dive after the movie. And the movie was
what
great.
happened?
People spend too much time judging whether or not they like the movie, and they're missing the key part, which is which you always have to pay attention to at the end of any time a new Marvel character launches, and that's that one line where it says the Eternals will return.
Right.
And once you see that, you know this is a sound investment. This should be a book that's maintaining value better than it has been. I think it's a great buying opportunity.
And it's Kirby, and it's always we always talk about this. peaks and values of selling, right?
Yep.
In between the announcements of news, like right now, Shang-Chi was a $16,000 9.8 book. Now it's a $10,000 9.8 book,
Right.
but there's going to be a sequel. Eventually they kind of land in where they're supposed to be. Like for the longest time, like Strange Tales 110, first appearance of Doctor Strange was, it was easily affordable, but then it kind of went up in price and it kind of settled in a nice little groove of where it should be for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I personally enjoyed Eternals. I don't know what the knock on it was. People kept on saying Marvel was formulaic and everything was the same. Well, the Eternals was something totally different, and I dug it. I dug it for what it was, man. And give me some more Black Knight Dane Whitman. I'm down for it. And Cersei kicking it. Oh man, what's her name? Not Cersei. Was Cersei? Was it Angelina Jolie?
No, Athena.
Yeah, Athena kicked ass, man. I'm sorry, but give me more Athena, and we will if you've seen it. And by the way, it comes on Disney Plus in a couple weeks, I do believe. So if you haven't seen it, go peep it out and make your own decision. Instead of just piling on negative reviews and going off of what other people say. Make your own decision on things. If you don't like it after you've seen it, then you could say it, and then you have an informed opinion. All right. So number 8.
I'm sorry. What do you guys think of the fact that the first 2 out of the first 3 books are books that spiked really huge right at the trailer and then plummeted because they did?
That's normal.
Both.
I mean, if you follow the collecting market, that's kind of the trend of what happens, right? After, director, actor announced spikes, trailer comes out, book goes absolutely crazy, if something gets optioned, especially if it's a smaller title, book, it'll spike. I mean, if you think about God Country, spiked when somebody said that I'm not going to invoke his name, but somebody said that they were working on the screenplay, right? And then the book teetered away, and then finally we got a director for it, and I do believe a production company. So you just got to read the tea leaves and realize when is a good time to buy and when's a good time to sell. Sell on news, don't buy on news for
Peaks
you.
and valleys, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly, peaks and values. That'll be the name of a new show.
There's always that spike of, it's like 3 spikes. It seems like it's the announcement spike, it's the casting spike, and then your first look at the movie or whatever kind of spike.
Yeah, I mean, best example of that is the kid who's going to play Eros, Star Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he showed up in the trailer for Eternals, that book went crazy, and it was just an appearance by him. And now that he's coming into the MCU, so there you go. All right, so number 8 on the unit list for most units sold is Eternals, number 1 from 1976 of Jack Kirby goodness. We got for number 7, Ryan.
Well,
we got to have Miles on here.
Number 7 is no surprise. Lucky number 7, Ultimate Fallout number 4 from 2011. We had 1,371 units sold for a total sales number of $1,416,454.11. That was the shipping, I guess.
I mean, somebody do the math on that, but
Wow.
that's a pretty damn good.
Hefty
If you
number,
look at
baby.
this, here's
the
simple,
average
dirty,
sale.
muddy math. Let's look at number 10. 1,000 units sold, 463,000. That's pretty good. 1,100 units sold for 64,000, which doesn't seem like a lot. 1,300 units sold for 400,000. And then Ultimate Fallout came. It's almost the same unit sold, a little bit more than Eternals,
Over
but
double.
good
Wow.
Lord, 1.4 million in sales. Truly, Miles Mania will. Lately, there's been rumors about the kid from Blackish. I think he was seen at the red carpet,
taking pictures with everybody.
yeah, and automatically they assumed that maybe it's because Blackish is ABC, is the parent company of Disney, and and he got tickets. Maybe he showed up, or maybe there's nothing
maybe
to it.
he's
But,
trying to promote himself.
yeah, well,
I mean,
Simu
that
Liu
would be
did it.
smart, right?
So that's an
There's
average.
been rumors around him for years, though. There's been rumors that he was the one that they had tabbed, that they liked
I
working
mean,
with.
his name is already Miles, isn't it?
Yeah,
This-
Miles playing Miles. Yeah,
This
Then
book's
there
going
was
to come
a-
up 4 more times tonight. Watch.
Well, you got a new name now, because even after Cobra Kai debuted, there was a lot of people who thought the young kid from Cobra Kai could be a future Miles Morales. So there's always going to be somebody that people are going to tap and say that's the one. It'll be interesting to see till we see it.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to see him do the Blue Beetle. That kid.
Edward's right. It's about
I'm
$1,000 a
excited
pop.
for that. And the fact that they just moved that from an HBO Max project to a feature film bodes well for
wow,
what that must be looking like.
Good for that kid, man.
Nothing worse than day in, day release for streaming and theatrical to kill your box office numbers, man. So number 7 on the list, Ultimate Fallout. Number 4, the true first appearance of Miles Morales.
A millie.
Number 8 on the list. What do we got?
All right.
Oh, no, number 6 on the list.
Because you're going in reverse order, right? Number 6 on the list, we've got Moon Knight issue number 1, originally published in 1980 from Marvel Comics. And I can't read the stats, but their total units sold right around 1,300 again. So 1,376 with a total sales value of 190 grand. Remember, you can't get Marvel Spotlight. You're not getting his first appearance on the cheap. This is still really affordable.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes, this is one of those things where I can't get the first appearance. I can't, get the second appearance, then I'm going to get this. Just for contrast, I just want to go back to Miles again. Almost the same amount of units sold, and Miles did $1.4 million. That's incredible. But when Moon Knight, when we do get the actual, Disney Plus, this book's going to go crazy.
This is great too because it's early Bill Sienkiewicz. And Moon Knight back here, it was a direct market exclusive. It wasn't a newsstand book at the time.
That's right.
Only for direct markets at the time. It was a test when the direct market was first coming out. So that's really fun stuff about it. I
remember as a kid there were some other books like Marvel Fanfare, were books that you could only get direct market, meaning they only sold to comic shops. You couldn't get them on the newsstand. Like there were some other like prestige format or more expensive books like you couldn't get on the newsstand that you could only get. And I specifically remember Marvel Fanfare because it was like there were any of the deluxe type books that you wouldn't find them at 7-Eleven, right? They would just sell them directly to comic book stores. So that's pretty cool, especially Moon Knight. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, but was this a bi-monthly when it first came out? I don't even think this was a monthly, huh?
No, it was bi-monthly for a while. It was a test. It was a character nobody knew about. It was a Bill Sienkiewicz nobody knew about. It was bi-monthly. It came out every other month for a while. Yeah,
so before Image came out with their bi-monthly titles because they were delayed in the 90s. In the 80s, Marvel and DC actually had books that came out every 2 months because they were just figuring out, we don't know if people are going to buy this on a monthly basis. And then we look back and see how silly we were. What were we thinking back then?
Daredevil was like that too before Frank Miller took over.
Yeah,
your knowledge, Gabe, is incredible.
Yeah. So Moon Knight, number 1, coming in number 6 for the most units sold in 2021. What do we got for number 5? Got to be another Spider-Man book.
Number 5, another Spidey book. We're looking at Spider-Man Unlimited number 1 from Marvel, another 1993 issue here. Total sales 1,483 units with a total value sale coming up of $63,488.23. This is another one of those books that was just a dollar book, kind of laugh because of the Ultimate Carnage or the Maximum Carnage.
Carnage, yeah.
Great.
Now, what's the significance of this? Just the title? What is there a first appearance?
It was the first appearance of Shriek.
Shriek, that's right.
Yeah.
She was in the movie.
She was good in the movie. Yeah, she was pretty good.
Yeah, but this is one of those things where 1993, they printed the shit out of this book. Across Maximum Carnage was across multiple storylines. Spider-Man, Marvel had a history of doing this. They did it with Wolverine, multiple storylines. And even the Punisher had at one point he had his own ongoing stories. Then they had the Punisher War Journal, and then and then Spider-Man at one point had 5 ongoing. If I think Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up. And one more I'm missing.
Just Spider-Man. Adjective
and just Spider-Man. That's right. McFarlane kind of reignited that and just said, I'm going to do it, but just call it Spider-Man. And then that got hot again. So
they were doing the Maximum Carnage storyline that crisscrossed every title. And they added a new title, which was Spider-Man Unlimited, just to put more books into it.
That's right. There you go. So that's not bad when we look at the average sales of 63,000 compared to the other ones. So number 5 on the list for most units sold for 2021 is Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. All right, this is probably a late one on the list, but man, did it move a lot of units. What do we got for number 4?
We're talking about. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I was still on mute. We're talking about Spider-Man 2099, number 1 from Marvel in 1992, which moved a staggering 1,538 units with a total value of $74,754.43.
And this is, to me, I feel because we do the top 10 list for like 10 years now. To me, this seems to be a recent addition because of the Across the Spider-Verse trailer. And we got to see a Spider-Man 2099. I mean, to me, that seems like it's a recent bump in sales, but that is a lot of units moved. 1,500 units moved are that equal $74,000 for easily a dollar bin book back in the day, man.
I wonder if Matt could comment if that was all late backloaded or if this is a consistent seller like a Spawn is, where it sells every year. Because remember, he was in the end credit scene of the first movie, so we knew he was coming.
That's what I was going to say, JB. When I first started setting up at cons, some of the OG dealers that were trying to school me used to tell me, like, have books like Spider-Man 2099 because it just sells all the time. Not for a lot of money, but it just always sells. It always moves units. It's always a book that people have to have in their PC. So when you're just starting out and you're new in comics, it's a book people are going to pick up. And it's going up in value now because of all of this movie spec. But I think it's a book that people always want. It's a cool cover. It stands out.
Yeah, and it's a good chance that, who knows, it could get its own animated series. So Spider-Man 2099, number one from 1992, units sold in 2021, 1,538 for a total sales of nearly 75 grand. Not bad, not bad at all. All right, I remember this book. What do we got for number 3?
This one is on the hot list a lot as well. X-Men number 4 from 1992. We had 1,587 units sold for a total sales this year of $139,154.35. Omega Red.
Yeah, and I think it was on our cover price top 10 list that this was one of the books that appeared on the top 10 the most in 2021. People speculated that it was going to be part of Black Widow simply because he was Russian and things like that. I mean, it's just one of those books that have been...
Didn't he show up in a Deadpool scene?
Like a cut scene.
Yeah.
It was like a cut scene.
It was a cut scene. It wasn't in the movie? Okay.
Yeah. But,
this is also one of those books like Jack was talking about. That's always a seller. People always love this book. This is a great cover and everything like that. Part of the Jim Lee, John Byrne era of X-Men.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where people are just like, you know what, I'm going to buy it because as soon as the character comes, I'm going to sell it. That's at least my opinion is. People aren't sitting on Omega Red like I'm going to keep them. They're like, I'm going to buy them up because whenever somebody has a copy, they normally have like 10 or 15 of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But 1,500 units sold for a near 140,000 for X-Men number 4 from 1992. The good old that is the heyday of Spider-Man of X-Men when you think about it.
Prime.
That's the peak, that Jim Lee time after Chris Claremont left and John Byrne took over.
I hate to talk about it again, but if you watch the Chris Claremont documentary, he actually says Jim Lee made him quit X-Men. Because writing X-Men, because he's like, I don't agree with what he's doing with it. One of his main complaints was also bringing back Jean Grey. Like, Chris Claremont was one of the old school guys. It's like, hey, if I kill a character off, I want them to remain dead. And then they brought her back in X Factor, the original X Factor. They back Jean Grey. So watch that Chris Claremont documentary. It's really great, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's on Amazon too, so I think you get it for free.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah. So,
Jim Lee was taking over as the scripter at the time, so he was just getting, or the plotter.
So he was just so for those comic book people who aren't, or maybe new, or maybe don't understand sometimes you'll see story and script by so and so and inks and pencils and everything else. Well, somebody could actually plot it, but not actually write the dialogue. Meaning they can just say this is what the story is, but you work on what the actual details of the actual scripting is. You know what I mean?
Style. Yeah,
exactly. Marvel bullpen style. If we have Spider-Man 2099 on the list, then we're gonna have to have Amazing Spider-Man number 365. What have we got for number 2? And what are I might as well do it since I already talked about it. So
yeah, you already did it, TiVo. Go for it.
All right, I'll just do it since I haven't been doing much. Number 2 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man number 365 from Marvel 1992. Total units sold 1,755 for a whopping $108,000 of sales because of the Spider-Man 2099 preview in the book. So, whatever, between this book and this book, it's whatever it is. I will say this. In my opinion, this is a hard book to cut to get a 9.8. It's a thick book and it's a black cover. It's just, I don't know. It's not even a double page book. It's like a triple page book. It's huge. It's a huge book. And so, and they made a ton of them too. So, you never know.
The double whammy is 9.8 in a newsstand, because look at 92, that was 10% or 15% run.
Yeah, and these are cool little gimmicks that they did across the entire Spider-Man line when they did these hologram covers. All right, so what we have
unlike
for
the
number one,
unlike the other one where I think that sold all year round with $20.99, I think this one is definitely. If we asked Matt, he'd probably say this is all backloaded because it's so cheap. So as soon as that broke, people saw this and just crushed.
1,500 units for 74,000 as opposed to 1,700 units for 108,000. So
cheap,
that's not really if you think about it. Somebody do the math in the live chat. I don't have a calculator with me.
Come on.
All right, what do we have number one for the most units sold in 2021?
I guess I'll take this one, right?
Yeah.
So number one is going to be that book we talk about all the time because it sells all the time. Spawn, issue number 1. Originally published in 1992 from Image Comics, and it had a total unit sold last year of 1,957 for a total sales volume of 156 grand. But still, almost 2,000 copies sold of a book for no huge reason. It just sells.
I thought everybody owned a copy, to be honest. I don't know where they're coming from. It's like it's like Todd McFarlane sitting on some and just selling. I mean, it's like
I'll tell you what it is. To me, the fact that books like this, books like Spider-Man 2099, books like Spider-Man Unlimited were on this list shows the health of the comic book market. We are adding new collectors at such a rate year in and year out, and these collectors are starting their collections from scratch, so they are buying the books that we all take for granted because we've had them for years, and these are the books that are moving volume and turning over year in and year out because they're the ones you have to have in your PC.
I know. I feel stupid now that I gave away Spawn issues 51 through 100, but I kept 1 through 50, and then there's some cool, people are starting to really. The first 20 issues of Spawn is some of the best cover art you'll ever see on any title, man. Some of and some of the stories not written by Todd McFarlane are pretty good.
Oh yeah, you got Neil Gaiman, you got Alan Moore, you got Frank Miller, you got Paul Simon, not Paul Simon, but yeah, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, Simon and Garfunkel wrote it. Yeah.
Dave Sim, that's where.
Dave Sim. There's also that famous Spawn cover with Dave Sim's creation on it. What's his name?
Cerebus.
Cerebus. Yeah. So number one for most units sold, our good old friend Spawn. Just wait till there's a trailer, if we ever get a trailer for most units sold. All right. So in summary, as you recall, Spawn number 1 was 2019's top book, then fell to number 3 in 2020, letting Miles and Punchline take the top 2 spots. But this year, he's back on the top. Fun fact, Spawn is the number one in the top, is the top across all our user collections with a whopping 2,024 copies. While Miles Morales' appearance slipped from number 1 to number 7 this year, it crushed all other books in terms of price. More on that later. See the highest sales volume and graded selection below. Aside from Spawn, this list was dominated by Marvel. Specifically, Marvel-based content is clearly one of the biggest aftermarket movers. Marvel dominates the Marvel comic book content space. It's also clear how amazing investing in Spider-Man-based book was in 2024 or 2021. We have Venom, the Lethal Protector, number 1, Spider-Man Unlimited number 1, and ASM 361 driven by Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the movie. Then you have the teaser for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that lit a massive fire under Spider-Man 2099, despite him appearing at the end of the very first film. See, it just goes to show you when the first animated movie came out, it didn't really cause the market to move all that much. What's crazy about 2099 in his late edition what's crazy about 2099 is his late edition in 2021. These sales were mainly from, and JB, you were asking, man, about that. These sales were mainly just from November to December, and it still made the most units sold. So that's just amazing about Spider-Man 2009. That's what I was saying. I was like, it was recently made our list. Moon Knight on the list reminds folks that he has big plans for 2022. And then there's X-Men number 4. A first appearance of Omega Red in the number 3 position. He was rumored to be in the Falcon Winter Soldier, then WandaVision, and then Black Widow. There was a lot of wishful thinking that didn't pan out, yet those rumors were so consistent that they made the list for a second year in a row now. And I think people are just hard-headed and stubborn. They're going to continue to buy it because they're just thinking eventually it's going to happen. So there you go, boys and girls. Shall we take a little break? Yeah, we'll take a little break, man. What do we hear from our sponsor, MySlabbed.com, while you guys are congregating? So just give yourself, because we still got a long way to go, boys and girls. A long night. Pace yourselves.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabbed.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabbed.com and join the 1% revolution.
All right.
I've had great success on that place, man. Sold 4 books on there so far.
Yeah, and save yourself a grip of cash, not paying
Yes,
eBay
sir.
fees. All right, so next up on the list is a pretty exciting one. This is comics that sold the most units variants. We'll start again from scratch, and JB, you can be you start off number 1 so we don't lose. So we love variants so much that we pulled the data for the top 50 variants just to see for ourselves. We'll figure out a way to show the rest of it. But for now, enjoy the top 10. I was like, thank God I don't have to do 50 of these. But all right, so this is the most units sold for variants. What do we got for number 10?
So the number 10 most units sold variant is Black Adam Endless Winter Special number 1, the Boss Logic cover. Originally published in 2020 from DC, this had a total units sold of 281. One of them was mine, and a total sales volume of 15,447.
Wow.
Yeah, because Boss Logic doesn't do a lot of variants. So when
But that's
when
also a dope cover, though.
It is. He does a lot of fan art. He does some movie poster art, but rarely do you see Boss Logic do. For the longest time I didn't even know what his sound was. I didn't even know he wasn't even American. He's like from South Africa or somewhere I want to say. He's Australian, yeah, close to South Africa. It's down there, man.
You may be seeing some cool variants from him this year, and some convention attendance appearances as well. So,
yeah, you got to think he demands top dollar for the variants that he sells. I've people have lifted the curtain behind for me for the pricing on some of the variants that the artists do, and let's just say it's. Why should they do internal arts when they could just make a living making covers? You know what I'm saying? It's like, they
get paid well for it.
You couldn't do that in the 80s and 90s, but you can make a living off just doing covers and not internal art nowadays. So
when I was working with Torpedo, we had J. Scott Campbell and Adam Hughes at doing the signing, and they were talking how internals, like doing interior comics, that's a young guy's job. Like you can't do that if you have a family and you got kids and you're married and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
the pressure, the pressure of deadlines and everything. You got to work with the writer to, you got to be, the writer's got to give you a screenplay, and you guys kind of work together. I mean, we've seen how fractured like relationships have gotten with like John Byrne and Chris Claremont, and if you think about other teams where Byrne and Claremont famously clashed on X-Men, where Byrne wanted more this, that, and the other, and eventually go watch the Chris Claremont documentary. I'm telling you, it's fantastic, man.
This movie hasn't even come out yet. I bet you this book ends up on the list again next year.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure once the full trailer drops, it'll get even hotter. But I mean, this is just dope anyway. It's just, you just don't really ever see them at all. So, number 10 on the list for most units sold variants for 2021, Black Adam, the Endless Winter Special, number 1 from Boss Logic, 281 units for $15,000, not bad at all. We haven't seen her in a while. What do we got for number 9?
All right, number 9 is a Joker number 2, the Libermejo cover from DC in 2021. This thing sold a total units of 308 with a total value of sales at $3,587.32.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful cover. I love Libermejo's work.
Yeah, and this is a Punchline. Remember last year was the summer Punchline, but If you look at the units sold here, 308 for only 3,500. Whereas I bet this Black Adam sold only 281 units, but $15,000 worth of sales. So I'm pretty sure once we move through this list, you're going to see some other staggering numbers here. But these are new variants. So
Well, and
number
if you
two,
remember, this one exploded because it's the first appearance of Vengeance, the daughter of Bane.
Yeah.
Are these exclusive, like store exclusive covers?
No, this was a cover B. This was that's why while it's a smaller number, it's pretty impressive because this was originally like a $4 cover price book.
Yeah, because DC doesn't do many ratio variants. They do typically A and Bs. Very rarely you see them do 125s or 150s or 100s. You know,
they're getting more into it though. It seems like they're
adding into it. For sure.
All right. So number 9 on the list for most units sold variants. Joker number 2, the Lee Bermejo from 2021. All right. First Star Wars book on the list. What do we got for number 8?
All right. We're looking at Star Wars, the High Republic number 1, Ario Antidato, Marvel in 2021. And this moved 325 units with a total sales value of $6,685.98.
Yeah, do you remember the hype when the High Republic came out, right? You know, and people were just gobbling up, and people still gobbling up. And then, I mean, just recently, Tales of the Jedi, you know, a little spoiler, a little photo dropped, and people went crazy for that the Dark Horse book. But this is basically relaunched Star Wars with brand new storytelling across different platforms. I think novels, young people novels. I mean, IDW has a Star Wars book and Star Wars. So this is kind of Marvel kind of rebooting it. And the old characters, I mean, you do have a young Yoda in this series, but besides that, all the characters are new, but from a old era, I guess is the best way to put it. So number 8 on the list of Star Wars, the High Republic. Number 1, the Ario and whatever. What Jack said. Yeah. Hey, surprised to finally seen this book on here. What do we got for number 7?
We've got Department of Truth number 1, Jenny Friesen, and we've got 341 total units sold this year for $10,290. That's a pretty great sales record right there.
That is, I mean, if that's in comparison to, you know, everything else, this is besides Black Adam, which is, but the Department of Truth was, it just came out of nowhere. You know, Department of Truth. If you think about, all that, but it had a ton of variants in when you think about it. And then I think this year, many people say they've been Jenny Friesen fans for years, but I think this last year or a year and a half, she kind of really took off doing DC variants as well as doing her Department of Truth image book. So Department of Truth number 1 sold 341 units in 2021. That's pretty amazing. All right, what do we got for number 6?
All right, at number 6, we've got Venom, issue number 32, the Ryan Brown Marvel versus Alien cover. We had a total unit sold of 367 with total sales volume of $5,000, 5,400. This cover is sick. I actually have this. That whole run, I don't know if you guys collected the Alien covers. They were freaking awesome, man. There was a good series of them. I actually did a video on it.
Yeah, it's a very cool painted looking cover. Very painted, like when I say painted, like Joe Jusko type painted cover. And so I'm surprised it's on the list, to be honest with you. Venom number 32. Was that
a key? I wonder if there's
wasn't that the? I'm trying to think. Venom number 3 was the first appearance of one of those characters. That's remember it was the summer of like Codex and Virus and all those weird characters.
That's a character every other week. Come on.
That a certain artist that was.
I think this one was just a cover art play. This was one that was a $20 book the weekend it came out. So I think it was just one of those books that moved a lot of units.
It was a random King and Black tie-in too.
Yeah. So I think it's also nostalgia too, because this when people find out that Alien was, Marvel was doing Alien comics again, they assumed that Disney has the IP to do Alien movies too, which I seriously doubt they do. It's like interesting fact is I was just reading online about there you go, Matt DeVoe. Hey, what's up, Matt? Just a cool cover. That the character Gargantos that shows up on the Lego toy or whatever toy for Into the Multiverse of Madness, they can't use Shuma Garath because Robert E. Howard's estate owns the theatrical rights to Conan the Barbarian, and Shuma Garath is part of the Conan Barbarian library of characters. So they could do it in comics, because obviously Marvel owns the IP for comics for Conan, but the theatrical release for Conan still belongs somewhere else. The Robert E. Howard estate, his kids or his grandkids and whoever has it. So it's interesting. I read this article. Somebody did the digging and they found out that they had to. It's Shuma Garath, but it's Gargantos in name only, because they couldn't use Shuma Garath because apparently he's been in Conan books in the past. So go look it up, I guess. Shuma Garath.
Wow.
So Venom number 32, the Ryan
Fantastic
Brown.
knowledge.
Marvel versus Alien. That's a dope ass cover. I need to go get me one now. Well, all right. Well, another Jenny Frieson book, and something is what?
Something is Killing the Children, number 1. The Jenny Frieson Unlocked cover is our number 5 from IDW 2019 cover. Awesome sales of 372 copies. Total value $80,000, $927.
Where's my calculator? Good Lord.
That's monster right there.
Yeah, because I was just looking at these other ones. Jenny Frieson also had number 7 for 10 grand. And so her Department of Truth number 1, 341 units for 10 grand. Her Something is Killing the Children number 1, 372 units for $80,000. That's
$30 a piece. The first one was $30 a piece.
Very
the
healthy.
Second one is $217 a pop.
Yeah, I feel like 2021 was the year like Something is Killing the Children and the Department of Truth, or just comics with long titles. It was always like
kids go to a bank and
yeah, it's like
nice house on the lab.
The nice house. Yeah, nice house on the It's like all there's all
official option announcement this year as well.
Exactly. Yeah, it's coming to Netflix, right? I do believe. Yeah. So IDW doing some big things. So number 5 in the list of most units sold for variants. Something is Killing the Children. Number 1, Jenny Frieson. I'm gonna say Frieson because it sounds French to me and it sounds cool. I'm gonna keep it. All right. Number 4. I got 2 of these.
We're talking about Iron Man number 12, the Raza Miles Morales Spider-Man DJ variant from Marvel in 2021. It moved 440 units for a total sales of $9,326.32. This is just a cool variant.
it's so cool, man.
Yeah, this is great. Especially for this show.
I have 2 of these, and I can't disclose who it is, but I can tell you that RZA said he's not doing this pose ever again. He was asked to do another DJ variant, and he's like, "Nope, this is perfect. I'm not going to do it."
It's not perfect. He did screw up the needles.
Yeah. Obviously, he's not a DJ because of the way that the needles are. But who knows? Maybe they're not really techniques. It's in a fantasy land anyway.
Right.
But he was asked to do another DJ cover like this, since it was so hot for another character, and he said, "Nah, I'll just keep it as it is." So it may be something that is part of some.
Gotta respect that.
But it's so random.
Yeah, because it's almost like
Iron Man book.
Because right now you get books that are so homage that they're overdone so many different times, and obviously this is homage to the Bruce Lee one, right? The one even prior to when Tony Stark had his, I bought mine from the Bruce Lee website, and the Bruce Lee website even sells them now. That the one with the Bruce Lee DJing. I mean, this is the homage to that pose. I mean, it's Bruce Lee, same angle, same hand gestures, everything. But it's kind of perfect that it's Miles Morales, because if you watch into the first Miles Morales animated film, there's a very heavy hip hop influence to it. Absolutely loved it. There's a scene where they're doing the graffiti, and there's a really dope mix. If you listen in the back in your head, if you listen to it, it's like a quick little mega mix of like a classic hip hop jams, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. If you watch that part when they're doing him and his uncle, the Prowler. They're doing some graffiti on the subway wall, and they play this mix in the background, and it's absolutely dope, man. So good to see this on the list, because I got 2 of them. So I may, this will be on my list of books to get graded, man. So 444 units sold for $93,000 or $93,000. Not bad, not Jenny Frieson level yet, but still pretty good, man. Speaking of homages, what do you got for number 3?
We have Stray Dogs #1. This is a Silence of the Lambs homage. And it sold 465 copies this year, and it had a total high sales of 27,028 or $284. I mean, this book, in my opinion, is one of the hottest books of 2021. Not this book in general, but just this total.
And
series.
to me, in 2021 is like
2020
the year movie variant, movie poster homages really took off because they've been around for over a decade now. I have
New 52
I have the
did a ton of them. Whole month, I think they did.
Yeah, I have a Batman one where they homage the Matrix. I also have the one where they homage Enter the Dragon for that because DC was doing the homages to movies, and then Marvel was doing hip hop variants. They were doing homages to album covers. Yeah, so it was a nice little mix of both. You know what I mean?
I posted the Superfly. It's a Superman one on Instagram the other day. That's a cool cover. It's It's the Superfly cover.
Yeah. So first time Stray Dogs made on this. It was a hot book in 2021 too. So Stray Dogs #1, Silence of the Lambs. Clarice. All right. It's really gross if you have headphones on. What do we got for #2?
All right, at #2, we've got Spider-Man issue #1, the Silver Edition, published in 1990 from Marvel Comics. There was 656 of this sold, which is amazing to me, for $29,600. The silver, what was there? The silver, the gold, the bronze. How many different covers?
There's a platinum one.
Yeah. There's a platinum one, yeah. And I mean, the platinum one looks closer to this, but it's just it's more silver.
It's just the it's
more
just
silver.
a logo. It's just a logo that's like silver. Everything else is normal.
And,
that thing is a ghost. I've only seen like 2 in my life. The platinum.
Yeah. But still dope. This is obviously the height of, Todd McFarlane coming off of Amazing Spider-Man, doing his own thing, launching the Spider-Man into ridiculous poses on covers that have been homaged ever since.
He even homages itself on this a couple of times.
He even says Todd after Todd. Yeah, that's a famous thing about the homage versus the swipe. Yeah, an homage is, you can mix and match the two because sometimes people don't say somebody before Todd, but I think Todd McFarlane is the first one to say that, but say somebody after someone. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Todd McFarlane is the one that kind of started that trend because I've seen Stephen Platt say Platt after Todd before when he did the Moon Knight cover that homage ASM 301 or is it 300 if you see it on Stephen Platt's Moon Knight run. So, all right, Spider-Man #1, the Silver. 656 units sold. Man, oh man, that is crazy. I'm curious to find out. I haven't looked at this list yet, so I don't know what's #1. What is #1?
We're back with the Star Wars, the High Republic #1 now, with Stephanie Hahn's variant from Marvel in 2021. Now, this cover moved 705 units with a total sales value of $29,924.37.
Nice.
You missed your cue, JB.
I just went. I did the last one.
There were so many covers for this when it came out. It's kind of, I think was this the 1 in 25 when it came? I'm trying to think what this was.
This was the 1 in 20. Yeah, this was the 1 in 25. There was actually two 1 in 25s, if I'm not mistaken. But this was the one that kind of early on the speculators tabbed as the book to get, and then it kind of waned a bit. There's a lot of exclusives that people really liked. But it's clear with 2 different books on with High Republic #1 that people were buying heavily into that title.
So, question: at a $42 average, where does that put it against what it should have been?
It all depends on how much your LCS.
What's the 1 in 25 supposed to be? Come on.
There is no supposed to be. There's no MSRP for it. I mean,
Right.
There seems to be some sort of scale that
no, there isn't. It's up to your LCS. If your LCS sucks, they'll charge you $100. If your LCS is cool, they'll charge you $30. It all depends.
I mean, the old school logic was like to sell at ratio. So if it's a 1 in 25 variant, to sell it for $25.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the market ultimately ends up determining what that secondary market value, because those variants never really, because they don't have the MSRP. To Tebow's point, there's no like first market where there's a standardized pricing. It's whatever.
And most of these are FOMO. The day it drops, your LCS maybe had, well, people were ordering this in pretty high amounts, so maybe your LCS had 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, right?
Well, we're hearing that that's not a 125. That's actually a cover B.
Cover B.
So that's the thing, is that's even more impressive to be at that sort of value proposition.
So $42 for a cover B. That's
right, an open to
impressive.
order book.
I think it was ordered for sure. You know, it's before the big pandemic hit for Star Wars, and they were really quiet. They couldn't find Star Wars books.
Yeah, there was a ton of covers for this, but I'm trying to think. This is the only one that actually had Yoda on it, if I remember, when for Star Wars: The High Republic #1 came out, because Yoda is really the only legacy character that's in the series that I can recall. And Yoda is relatively young. I think he's still a Jedi Master, but he's not like old. As you know, but yeah, I'm telling you, I mean, people sleep on Star Wars: High Republic, but if it ever gets developed into live action, people are gonna go back and look at the first appearances on some of these books, and you know, the novels, everything. So you know, and it's still going strong to this very day. IDW has it. They've had some spin-off series, and look what it did for, I mean, look at what the Book of Boba Fett's going to do when The Mandalorian comes. I always tell you guys, first appearances that appear in Disney Plus, when they first appear in the comics after the fact, is going to be amazing. When The Mandalorian and Grogu first appear in comics, you don't think that people are going to swap that up? Because I read somewhere it was supposed to come out, the comic for The Mandalorian and Grogu, but because of the pandemic, it got pushed back. So the series came out, but it's still coming. You can guarantee you better pre-order it because it's going to get sold out. So in summary, this list is a little bit more balanced. It showcases the hottest books of the year as well, though. It's hard to remember the beginning of 2001, but Star Wars: The High Republic dominated the aftermarket for months. The book had a long-term potential with multiple first appearances, including Keeve Trennis, Avar Kriss, and Skier. Stray Dogs by Tony Fleecs and Trish Forster was just one of those books that took on a life of its own. With only the B Signs of the Land homage cover made the list, Stray Dogs is all over the place in the top 50, however. A first appearance of Vengeance, Bane's daughter, was super hot this year as well, which helped the Lee Bermejo B cover sneak onto the list. We didn't expect that one. Boss Logic's Black Adam cover gained significant traction after releasing right around that time. The Rock shared his first look in the Black Adam costume, setting this incredible cover on fire. James Tynion and Jenny Frieson made the list with their hot book covers for Boom, Something is Killing the Children, and Images, The Department of Truth. The old timer of the list, Spider-Man #1, is a modern classic by the Todd Father. It was on the list. It was on the list last year, so no surprise to see it back on this one. This is highly nostalgia-driven for collectors of the 90s. The Iron Man Raza was fun to see, yet the biggest surprise was Venom #2, the Venom Alien variant. Sometimes trends even sneak up on us. Despite never hitting the cover price top 10, the Shake list, or the Hot list, or even the movers, this book has many collectors. This was a book many collectors bought up throughout the year. Unarguably, it is a cool cover. So despite never showing up on any of the lists, it ended up on the end of the year list for most units sold. So that's pretty incredible. That just shows that that's just consistently selling over a long period of time, as opposed to really selling hot for 1 week and then just falling off a cliff. So that's pretty cool. All right. So next up is comics that sold the most units. Subsequent printings. In 2020, collectors went crazy for subsequent printings, and the market suddenly decided to favor lower print runs over first printings. This trend continued in 2020 and showed no signs of stopping. Here are the subsequent printings that sold the most copies last year, because if you think about some of these second printings, they're a much lower print run than their first printing, right? So, and collectors have this thing about, print runs. The higher the print run, they think the lower the value. So let's take a look, JB. What we got for number 1?
Coming up first,
Number
we
10.
got number 10, Stray Dogs issue #1, the Scream homage, third print. So they were doing homages in third print. Who does that? Published last year. Total units sold of 242 for $3,100. Third print homage.
I feel Stray Dogs did the most out of the movie homages, and really struck a chord with collectors. First of all, like the movies they chose were like us as we get older. Those were our films that we grew up on in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. And so when you see it, you remember it. Like Scream was what? In the early 2000s when it came out. I'm trying to remember when it came out.
That was like mid 90s, I think. Yeah,
mid 90s. God, I mean, hell, there's a new movie that came out. Has it come out yet?
It comes out next week.
Yeah, he could have swore I saw a trailer for it. They bringing back the old characters. So, Stray Dogs #1 coming in #10. The third print sold 242 units. That's crazy. You know what, man? 10 years ago, nobody was buying third prints of anything, man.
If it wasn't a first print, it was icky.
Yep. And speaking of weird prints, what do we got for #9?
All right. So #9, we got Berserker #1, the Ron Garney second print foil from Boom Studios in 2021. Total sales 245, with a value of total sales $16,937.43.
That's nice. I think 2020 really started the trend of nostalgia type covers, foil and die cut and all that good stuff. You know, especially
is that what you call it? I call it gimmick.
Was this gimmick also
to do a foil in a second print? I mean, that's a gimmick. It seems to me.
Wasn't this
it's only a gimmick if it doesn't sell?
Was this a what should we call it? Was this a ratio too? I thought, was this like a 1 in 25 or something to get this? Because I don't think many stores had this. I think there was
exactly
ratio or order
allocated.
Is that what it was? It got allocated. Yeah. Typical.
Yeah, because Berserker continues to be the book that people are just like, it's eventually going to come. Keanu Reeves is talking about wanting to make it into either a movie or a Netflix series or something. I mean, he's part of the team that's creating it, so it's got good push. Boom Studios is getting a good track record with Hollywood, so you got to follow some of these comic book publishers, and once they get a good relationship with Hollywood will continue to mine the same mine for content once they make a good relationship. If you think about Mark Millar or Mark Millar, it's actually Mark Miller and his relationship and how he's gotten so many Hollywood projects done after Kick-Ass, it's kind of amazing, man. But #9 on the list is Berserker #1, the Ron Garney second print foil variant, 245 units sold.
That also kind of started the trend of movie stars being involved with comic books too.
That's right. Well, if you think about it, Gerard Way, well, he's not a movie star, but he was a musician in Umbrella Academy, right?
Rosario Dawson had a comic too way back in the day, but yeah, I've seen it. It's been a lot more after Berserk.
Yeah. #8 is the acronym that I never knew about. What is it?
Yeah, #8 is ENIAC #1, the black lettering cover. The not first print from Bad Idea in 2021. It moved 334 units for a total sales of $5,178.77.
Now that's a gimmick. That, you know, instead of saying second print, not first print, which is,
that's still $15.50 a pop, folks.
Yeah, which is still pretty unique. I mean, because I think the whole idea about Bad Idea is most of it was bought on the aftermarket. It was hard, you know, because not many people were buying them. I think
they couldn't buy them. They couldn't.
Stores had to sign up. Stores had to sign up.
There's
a special way. I did it for Torpedo. There's a special way you had to sign up and agree to ordering comics a certain way and a certain number and things like that.
As a customer, I had to pre-order all of it.
Yeah.
In advance, and then they credited me on Wednesdays when I picked them up. So I ended up pre-ordering whatever they had solicited, and then in advance, the day that time, right now, not pre-ordered, and they're going to charge me on Wednesday. I'm charging you right now because he said that's how he was charged.
Yeah, because stores, if you ordered like 20 copies of #1, you had to order 20 copies of #2, #3, #4, #5. And then there was other like requirements to be a part of the Bad Idea sales group. You had to hang up a poster. You could only sell it at cover price the first week. There was a bunch of things that came across, and a lot of stores didn't get involved.
He was not allowed to upcharge it ever, I don't think.
Because they don't use Diamond Distributing, right? They self-publish. Is that correct?
I think it's self-distributed, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that's one way to, you know, make more money is because Diamond, you know, takes a big chunk out of it when they do the distribution. Some in the live chat, tell me what the ENIAC acronym stands for, because I remember when we were first talking about this, somebody actually said it's an acronym that stands for something, something like science fiction or science based or something like that. I can't remember. We had so many shows last year, it's all a blur. So ENIAC #1, the black, not first print from Bad Idea, 334 units sold for a gnarly cover. Hey, back on the list. What do we got for #7?
Berserker #1, Dan Moore. This is the third print. This is also a foil. 374 copies sold, and it sold for total sales of $21,811. It looks like Keanu Reeves on the cover.
Yeah, that's a 21 grand is pretty healthy number, man. For
how many printings did they do with this damn thing?
Well, you look it up in CovrPrice.
A lot. People were all over that book.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
one of those things where
$58 a pop for a third print.
Yeah, and this is after the fact too. This is an aftermarket, so you never know. People may have paid more. And now remember, this is total sales includes raw and slab, so it could be some 9.8s in there, some 9.9s, some 10s. Who knows, man? There could be some 11s in there from PGX. We don't know what they do, man. So number 7 on the list is Berserker number 1, the Dan Mora third print foiled variant.
Foiled again.
Number 6, we got another Star Wars book.
Is that back to me? I'm confused now. If it is, it's Star Wars High Republic issue number 1. Didn't we already do this one? The
nope, this is a different cover.
Second print.
Yeah, it's a different
377 units sold on this second print for $9,815.
Yeah, so
I think I bought every single printing of these two. I was one of those guys for the Star Wars High Republic. I told them every cover, I want them all.
Yeah, this is like the last page of the first print, if I recall correctly. This is either the second to the last page or last page of the first issue. Marvel has been doing that for like in the last 5 to 7 years, where they just take art from a previous book and then make it the second or third print variant. Sometimes people don't even recognize it. Especially if they don't read the
run. It was really prevalent in this.
Especially if you don't read the, if you don't read the internals, you would never know. Retail variants, the artists don't do that, but this is when the DC Marvel or when Marvel does their own variants for the store variants. But you won't ever see like Karis Comics will do where they just this is a Marvel's cheap way.
To get a second print out is what it is.
Yeah, it's cheap way. You don't have to pay cover artists for their work either. So there you go.
I like how it says introducing Keeve Tennis on the cover too. Then it's the first appearance of a character.
There you go. Yeah, it's almost telling you got to collect this. All right, number 6 on this, Star Wars: The High Republic, the second print, Ariel and Edito variant, 377 units. Wow, I'm only halfway through the list.
Here's a big one. Thor number 6. This is the Nick Klein second print. This is a wraparound cover, which is great. From 2020. Total unit sales is 402 with a total value of $5,835 for the second printing.
The hype behind Thor.
Interior art on that one too.
That's another interior one.
Yeah, interior splash page. Pretty dope though. And you got Thanos with the hammer, and what was the hype with the glove he was wearing? The black glove. It was I forgot what the speculation on that was. It caused God, I'm trying to remember now. People in the live chat can remind me. There was something about the black glove on Thanos' hand that they tied to like Thanos' son or some other character. I'm trying to remember. It's all a blur now. But number 5 on the
tied
list.
It to Annihilation Conquest. That guy. What was his name?
It was somebody weird, yeah. You'd be amazed what people pick up and they just run with it. I meant, but Thor number 6, Nick Klein, second print variant, 402 units sold. Wow. Good old Miles is back on the list.
I literally just pulled this one out of a short box. We're talking about Ultimate Fallout number 4, the second print, but the second print variant from Marvel. This one moved 565 units. For $93,899.96.
Wow.
So Miles is the king of money. I mean, $1 million on one list, 93,000 on this list. Wow.
Yeah, but it's also a variant from 2011. So I mean, that's that's let me look at
Is this a tough getting a 9.8? I don't know.
2020, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021. Yeah, this is the oldest variant on the list so far. This Miles Morales, yeah. Sari Pacelli also killing it with the art. So the Miles mania continues, madness continues. I think people started buying up Ultimate Fallout number 4s when people started realizing there was a second print and a subsequent prints of it. They started buying those up too. If we look at Ultimate Fallout number 4, what was it? 1.4 million. And just add on a little $93,000 some change on there. And, that's not bad for a little Miles Morales Ultimate Fallout, the little book that could, right? All right, so number 4 on the list, Ultimate Fallout. Number 4, the Sir Pacelli second print variant, 565 units sold. Man, that's amazing to me. We got to get back with this.
Something That's Killing the Children, number 1. This is the
Good Lord.
Gosh, the 8th print.
That's the final print. I think the 8th is the final print.
Is it? Total units sold is 614 for a total sales this year or last year of $11,949. What is the book that's got the most printings?
By the way, that is not the final printing. There is a 1 through 4 David Mack set coming out.
Of issue number 1?
Still printing number 1?
Yeah, hey man, if you got a license to print cash, go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people are buying it; they're going to print it.
Exactly. I mean, why do you think they keep on? What's amazing to me is
supposed to be free. What was the story on this?
No, it wasn't.
This book was free if you ordered one of the Berserker late printings. There was one of the Berserker.
Oh, so that's why there's no cover price on there.
Yes.
Great knowledge, Barbarian Kung Fu in the chat. Thank you.
But damn, this is also one of the better Something Is Killing the Children covers as well. But if you look up the amount of variants on number 1, I think we talked about this before. I think somebody said like the book that had the most variants or printings was something like 14 printings of it. But it was like over a span of a really long time.
Johnny something or other. It's got 23 printings.
Because I know Killing Joke has 10. That was probably the earliest one that had the most printings.
And it's almost impossible to discern. Like, you got to know what the color label, the logo color is to discern what to me, like some of the earliest printings I remember was like the New Mutants graphic novel, right?
Yeah.
It had some really, and it was like, how do I find out?
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you had to how do you find out it's a second printing? Oh, you got to look at the barcode and look at the last 3 numbers on, remember, I was like, what the hell?
And before there was barcodes, you had to look at the indicia in the inside page.
Where it said like Marvel production of, and there's like a paragraph that you rarely ever see on the inside of comics anymore. But back in the day, you'd have to look in there and it'll say second printing and, part of this paragraph on the first page, which I don't think
it wouldn't even say first printing. It would only say if it was a second,
Yeah, I'm trying to even think if they even have that anymore in new comics. They don't even bother with that anymore. It's pretty interesting. All right, so Something Is Killing the Children, 8th print, 614 units sold. Our good friend is back.
There we go. At number 2, we've got Ultimate Fallout 4.
Good Lord.
Second printing, the Mark Bagley. Now think about this one, actually, before I tell you. I kind of prefer this one. You actually see his face in this one, There was a total unit sold of 750 for 196 grand. Ultimate Fallout 4, second print, Mark Bagley.
My God. We can easily say Miles Morales is one.
So that's like 1.7 million so far.
Yeah. Pretty much
1.7 million in Ultimate Fallout 4 between the first print and the 2 second prints.
Not bad for Miles Morales. Let's see if he made number 1 as well.
Number 1, we're looking at Something Is Killing the Children. Number 1, 7th print, the local the LCSD
comic shop day.
Local comic shop day. Foil.
I thought that was Latter-day Saints.
I thought it was LSD.
So this is a total sale units is 1,008 with a value of total sales coming in at $54,002 basically.
And I got to think this wasn't from 2019 either. This has got to been the last year or two or so, whenever it came out. Well, we'll find out when we get the summary here.
That's when number 1.
The summary.
I think they supplementally have to print it for the same year.
So the summary, Boom and James Tynion took over this looks with Something Is Killing Children, started the year with content rumors, which were confirmed in July. It's already selling quite well, but this was a massive boost for the title. The Foil Local Comic Shop Day 7th print took the top spot to prove that collectors like shiny things. I told you. Boom also found success with Keanu Reeves' Berserker, continuing to support the fact that collectors like shiny things like second and third print foils for Berserker were incredibly hot last year. And how awesome was it to see Keanu talking about comic books on talk shows? That's right. I think he was on Stephen Colbert talking about it. And Stephen Colbert is a massive geek too. Or it's either him and Kimmel were asking him like which Marvel or DC character he'd like to play. But anyway, throughout this year-end review, Stray Dogs, Miles Morales, and the High Republic continue to weave their common thread. One notable entry here was Bad Ideas, not a first print version of ENIAC #1. Bad Idea came into 2021 like a rocket with Hero Trade and ENIAC, only to end the year with the company coming to its end, at least as we know it. Wink, wink. Another surprise with Nick Klein's second print for Thor #6, which was still supposed to connect to Marvel's current Timeless series. This may not be entirely done yet, so there you go. Look out for that. All right, this is always a fun one that we always like to talk about on here. Comics that sold the most units, Newsstand. Like subsequent printings, there was also a new category for 2020 when it's back again in 2021. Here are the top newsstands that sold the most copies in 2021. I think in 2020, 2021, people really started looking for newsstand copies as opposed to direct. And number 10 on that list is everyone should have one in their collection. Not a necessarily newsstand one, but at least one. Yeah. What do you got, JB?
Everyone needs to have this book in their collection. Marvel Team Up issue number 141, the newsstand edition, obviously from 1984. Total units sold of 202 and total sales volume of 27,000. But TiVo in 84, this was prevalent. Newsstand was the dominant book.
Well, the argument can be said, and I will have to pull up my trusty graphic here.
Bring up that trusty graphic.
So
about 50-50.
It was about 50-50.
84, it would have been somewhere right around.
Some people will defend Newsstand, even when the ratio was high, because simply they said, because kids were reading them at the 7-Eleven, they were bending the shit out of them, they were doing everything to them. So, people will defend Newsstand, even though the ratio sometimes doesn't always dictate it as such. But there you go, man. But this is, I think, is it tied with first Black Suit Spidey?
Yeah. Matt Dubois just said it ties with 252 for first Black Suit Spidey.
Only to get hotter, I think. Once you've seen the No Way Home and the Gloop end up in the bar, I don't even know if Peter Parker's low enough to drink yet, so I don't know how the Gloop is going to get to him.
Get to him.
Yeah. So it's in a bar, but who knows? I could pass on to maybe Flash Thompson or somebody else, but along those lines. But Venom has kind of left his mark in the MCU to see where it goes from there. Kevin Feige wants to do the proper Venom Peter Parker storyline in the MCU, not what they did in Sony. So no reason to cry about it, Ryan. We'll get to you, man.
I know. You'll get there.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to take off real quick, guys. It's time to put my kids to bed. I'll be back if I make it back in time.
All right.
No problem.
JB, that means JB, you're up next.
I'll go again. You got it, man.
Jack is up next. Jack, you still there?
Jack's
I'm next.
Jack, you're second now because our man had to bow out. He had to go feed his kids or something, man. So what do we got for next newsstand, number 9?
Next up, we already talked about this book, One Spawn, number 1, the newsstand variant from Image in 1992. It moved 207 units of the newsstand variation for a total sales value of $67,510.22.
I bought my Spawn number 1 at a Stop and Go. If you remember what those were in California, Stop and Go was like the bootleg 7-Eleven.
That's right. It was the knockoff 7-Eleven.
I was coming home from drinking somewhere, and I went off to buy a pack of smokes. That was what you did when you were like 22 years old. And I saw this on a spinner rack inside of a Stop and Go, and I go, "That's Todd McFarlane." And I was like not really back into collecting it. I was 22 years old. I was getting drunk, but I immediately recognized it was. I was like, "What is Spawn?" And then I started buying it up, and then I got hooked ever since then, man. But yeah, it was. I remember when I got back in when I was younger, prior to like when my partying years. I remember going to supermarkets, liquor stores, everywhere. I remember this weird liquor store in downtown San Jose sold the Marvel Universe books, and I was absolutely blown away. I was like, why is a Marvel Universe book being sold at this liquor store? But I came back there just to buy them because I couldn't stop reading them. It was like the first encyclopedia for superheroes that I'd ever seen.
Did I buy that off of you, TiVo? Because I bought your collection.
Yeah, I had a whole set of 12. You put them all together. it makes a giant poster of the entire Marvel universe. It's pretty cool, man.
Cool.
Now the graphic that you just had up, this is an example of where Newsstand was rare. 92, you're 15% of the market, I think, if you put that graphic back up.
Definitely. I mean, this, like I said, I was really odd to see this at a gas station, because even at a liquor store or 7-Elevens, mostly you would see Marvel and DC. Right? You wouldn't see like an image book, right? So to me, it was like, what is this? And I just bought it out of I saw the art. I saw Todd McFarlane did, and I go, what is this? And I just bought it. Just because I was there and I was buying a pack of smokes, Marble Reds to be exact. That's right. I was young.
You rebel.
I know.
You rebel, you.
That's right. Rolled it up, put it in my T-shirt as I spit it out to my tobacco. Yeah. Anyway.
Cowboy.
Yeah. All right. So we go from Spawn number 1 to, man, we cannot get enough of this book. What do we got for number 8?
I don't know. You still got the other graphic up.
Oh, there we go. Boom.
Here we go. Amazing Spider-Man 365, and we sold 209 units last year for a total of $24,161.
Now this book in a 9.8, I'm telling you, I think it's a grand rent now, or maybe even more, maybe 11 or 1200 bucks. Where you know, in regular direct 9.8, what, 300, 400? I don't know.
I'm still impressed on the Spawn book, because a newsstand image book, I mean, even in 1992, I mean, you know, Marvel's newsstands, you know, Marvel and DC, you know, dominated the newsstands, but, you know, little Image Comics came along trying to push their ways into 7-Elevens and Stop and Goes in 1992. So number 8 on the list is Amazing Spider number 365, the newsstand cover.
Hey, TiVo, there was a comment in the chat. Can you go and check that one? Is it true the newsstands came out later than direct market copies? There was a comment from Ultra Maxim that says newsstands also hit 3 weeks later than their direct counterpart in my local market.
Yeah, I don't remember as a kid.
I wonder if that was always the case.
No, I remember when I was like in my like early 20s, when I worked and I was off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I used to hit the comic shop every Wednesday, make sure I got my Wizard magazine and the rest of my books on my pool. But, you know, prior to that, I mean, as a kid, it was just whatever was showing up. You know what I mean? Was ever showing up on the rack, you would buy it. I mean, it was kind of hard to get a monthly book from your 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? You didn't know what the hell the schedule was.
You don't know what they're.
At one point, I did ask, because I kind of knew the owner. I said, "Hey, what do you do with the comics that you guys don't sell? Can I have them?" To go, "Oh, we have to send them back." So they didn't keep them, and I was like, "Damn it!" And I was like, "Because, you know, I know you guys aren't selling all these." All right. So what do we got for number 7?
Next up, with number 7, we've got Avengers issue number 196. Newsstand from 1980 with 226 units sold last year. And wasn't the movie the year before? I don't feel like Black Widow. Was it Black Widow last year? Did Black Widow release in 21? Man, 21 was long. Holy shit. This year, so this was hot for Black Widow. For Taskmaster, even though it wasn't this Taskmaster technically, I guess, spoiler alert. 40 grand, 226 units sold.
It's not bad at all. I mean, this is a book that everybody had in their collection, simply because when I was a kid, everybody grew up and they just saw Taskmaster and thought he was a badass, because, you know, his cool, skull, Captain America's shield, and a sword, and a bow and arrow, but it's still pretty cool to see that. So this is the first kind of, I don't know. We'll see. I think Taskmaster will be coming back, so you never know, man. Number 7 on the list is Avengers 196 from 1980. Boom! What do we have at number 6?
Next up, we've got Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends number 1, the newsstand variant from Marvel in 1981. This year, it sold 263 units for $23,440.30.
And if you think, I mean, the Spider-Man's Amazing Friends is Peter Parker essentially in college with Firestar and Bobby Drake as Iceman. And if you follow No Way Home, it looks like he's going to end up going to college. I still don't think Ned and MJ are coming back, because they're going to MIT. And Peter Parker just got his GED. He ain't going to MIT. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows who he is. He may be going to junior college or NYU. He can't even get a New York University or whatever. I think it's called Empire State University in the comics, but it was essentially NYU. But I mean, you know, he's got to be working hard to go. The way that they're doing the story, it looks like his college years, maybe as an intern going into whatever. But there was also some rumors that that they wanted to have Zendaya be Firestar, which would have been a horrible idea. I don't believe that to be true. I don't think Kevin Feige would ever do that to be true, because they already kind of co-opted MJ to be this version, so they wouldn't do Firestar, who has a history of being a mutant in the comics. I mean, in the animated series, there's a series in the episode, the X-Men come to Firestar, and Professor X tells her she's a mutant. There's also a Doctor Strange appearance in Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. There's also an appearance, some great cameos. This is when I always tell people, for the longest time, I thought Wolverine had an accent, because he does in his appearance of Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends. It's like a weird British or Australian accent. At that time, I was a kid, 1981, I was like 10 years old. I just assumed like all Canadians had accents. They spoke with a British accent or Australian accent. But anyway.
Is this a George Perez book too? Is this something, if you have, maybe you may want to submit it, because he's going to do one last signing.
Yeah, there's an in-house private signing. All right, so if we go from
I think you got a super chat, Tiva.
All right, let's get at that. Thank you, Sigma Comics, for the $5 super chat. Don't sleep on indies. Here comes Calico on Kickstarter. Could be in your collection. First 30 seconds of our Kickstarter video says it all. Appreciate it, Sigma. So go check out Calico Sigma on Kickstarter. I would like a free one if you can. Hook me up. But anyway, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate the support. Let's get to number 5 on the list. What do we got?
Moon Knight number 3 from 1981. Wow. Yeah, this is sold 267 copies for a total year sale of $9,947. Yeah,
this is super rare for the newsstand, because as Gabe said, like issue number 1 was only sold to comic book stores, and it was bi-monthly. To get a 7-Eleven or somebody to get, buy, sell, or whatever, a bi-monthly issue, forget about it. Like you wouldn't see these on your rack, that often. So it's pretty. I mean, this would be one I would seek out.
Is it? I don't understand.
It's like the first appearance of it's like a first appearance of one of the villains in it. I do believe. I think that's him right there in the cover. Yeah. Dr. Midnight something or Dark, I don't know, one of them, man. There's like a bunch of people been specking on all the villains because of the series, so I wouldn't be surprised. All right, number 5 on the list, Moon Knight. Number 3, Newsstand from Marvel, 1981. Oh, look at that.
All right, coming in number 4, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 300, the Newsstand from Marvel, 1988. This moved 294 units for $259,685,685.86. That is a whopping number. Venom was big this year, boys.
Yeah, do the math on that.
I'm doing it right now. That is a big number divided by 294. That is $883 average. And because remember, this encompasses raws and any grade at any sale, right?
Well, raw and slabbed.
Yeah, raw and slab, meaning slabbed at any grade.
Correct.
So this is all sales. Because I've sold, I don't know, maybe 3 of these last year, and even
Newsstand?
mid-grades sell.
Yeah, but
even
Newsstand,
mid-grades sell ridiculously expensive. No, I didn't sell Newsstands.
Well, that's the news. Yeah, I meant and there's this is an absolutely gigantic print run, but for Newsstand, let's see what the Newsstand was in
1988.
Yeah, 1988. Pretty rare. Newsstand was 1990 was 15% as opposed to 85% direct stand. So, be that a key book and Newsstand, good luck getting this in a high grade too. This is another book that I always say is impossible to find. High grade Newsstand is Amazing Spider-Man 301. That used to be my white whale, my
Moby Dick.
My Moby Dick, man. I couldn't. Every raw copy I got, I said, "This is the one. I got to get this a 9." Boom, come back at a 9.6 or a 9.4. Could not crack it for the longest time. Amazing Spider-Man 301 was actually worth more than Spider-Man 300. Look it up.
Really?
It's a fact. Yeah, because it was such a hard to crack and it's so hard to find a 9 point. This is way before the Venom movie hype and everything. ASM 3, because ASM 300s were all over the place. I mean, I myself had 4 copies at one point, right? But ASM 301, the cover was so thin you could see through it, and you could see the art on the first cover, the first page, because the cover was so flimsy, which led to grading on it was really hard to get 9. For the longest time, I think. Longest time, 9/8 were averaging 1,500 for like even before any Venom movie was announced. It was still a $1,500 book. And then there's like the Chromium one that pays homage to this, but it's actually another book. The Ryan got when I pulled from him. That's another hot one too. That one's either 9/8 or not. It's it's either perfect or if it gets a ding, you can't press it out because it's one of those hard foil covers. But Amazing Spider-Man 300, man, this book is just crazy numbers. I want to see what outsold this in terms of units sold for newsstand. What do we got for number 3? Of course we do.
Here's Amazing Spider-Man 252. And it sold 318 units for a total sale for the year of $129,562.
This has definitely been the year of spider-related stuff. When that includes Miles Morales and ASM and Spider-Man 2099. It just goes for DC, it's Batman, Batman, Batman. For Marvel, it's Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Don't care what you say. Like Spider-Man easily made over $1 billion without even getting a China release. That is amazing during a pandemic too. That's amazing to me. And it was a great film. I mean, it built up such big hype and it lived up to the hype, right? Kind of like Avengers Endgame. It was so hyped up and it still lived up to the hype. And I can't wait to see it when it comes out on Disney Plus. Hell, I may go see it in the movie theater again. I already saw it.
Are any of the No Way Homes on Spider-Man on Disney Plus? I don't think so.
Not even. The other one, the Far From Home and Homecoming. I'm trying to remember. I know all the Spider-Man animated stuff was on there, but
but I don't think the movies are. So you might have to wait.
Yeah, eventually it will be though, because they have a certain contract with it where once it gets released on other platforms and like in Netflix. If you notice, Netflix doesn't stream something forever. Like a movie comes on there, I think they have like a window they can stream it for, and then they lose that window, and then somebody else gets that window. Like Amazon Prime, you can typically buy anything because you're paying for it. But like Netflix is free. Just like there's some things that drop off Disney Plus because they have to put it on to other streaming platforms that they were contractually agreed with, contractually obligated, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Number 3 on the list is ASM 252, another staple for every collector. Well, that's a surprise. What do you got for number 2?
Well, I guess I got number 2, right? Number 2 is Moon Knight, issue number 1 from 1980. 346 units sold for $48,000. And this was one of those examples. In 1980, it was all freaking newsstand. So, it's not rare, but still sold a shit ton of them.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, I could have swore these were. No, this wasn't. See, I do believe the direct market had a diamond in the price box. See, this one doesn't. If we scroll up and look at the other Moon Knight, you can see that in the price where it says 50 cent, it's like a diamond for the direct stand. Back in the day. So not only when you look at the barcode, look at the price in the upper left hand. What do they call it? The price box, letter box, whatever the fuck it is, man. All right, so number 2 on the list is Moon Knight number 1 from 1980. 346 units sold. What is the number 1 for most units sold?
The number 1 newsstand?
Venom. Wow. Carnage.
Number 1, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man 361, the newsstand. From Marvel 1992, selling 573 units for $237,941.31.
That's not the newsstand picture, though.
It's not the newsstand picture, just FYI, man.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, newsstand. I actually have one of these in a 9.6 that just came in on my last CGC unboxing. You should check that video out, by the way.
Well, let me actually check because I believe even... There is when DC did there's a Batman that they did, right? That has a DC logo in there for their newsstand. So let me look that up real fast.
Oh no, there's a newsstand on this. There's definitely a newsstand. I just got it in on my last CGC unboxing.
Let's see, Amazing Spider-Man 365.
361.
Oh, 361. 361. You guys ain't got nothing to do. Why don't you just wait for me?
No, we're just chilling. We're just hanging out, drinking cocktails. I'm on vacation, man.
So you think.
I don't know until they don't know. Every day we've gotten a notification from Carnival saying it's okay to cancel. It only takes one button. We understand that you may want to cancel. It only takes one button. And we're like,
I think they're trying to.
We're going.
They're trying to give you a hint. So it's either catch COVID or get diarrhea, one of the two. So you'll be in good shape. All right. So in summary, Marvel, and more Marvel. Spider-Man, and more Spider-Man. Moon Knight's on here with 2 issues. The first issue of the first ongoing series. Issue number 3 features the first appearance of the Midnight Man. See, I told you it was Midnight something, who's still rumored to be in the upcoming 6-episode Disney Plus series. Fans are still crossing their fingers to see Firestar and Iceman and Spidey team up one day, though it does seem far away. The first Spider-Man black costume symbiote has 2 entries along with Venom and Carnage's first full appearances, and a moment of silence for possibly one of the biggest disappointments of 2021 Taskmaster. His first appearance was scorching hot throughout 2021 until we all saw Black Widow. The movie is still fun. We did get Yelena out of it, who may be our favorite MCU addition last year. I will say Yelena was freaking awesome.
She's awesome.
Black Hawkeye. All right. We're almost there, boys and girls. So this is going to be newer books. So this is 2021 comics that had the highest sales volume. Let's look at the comics that had the largest sales volume. For these lists, we've taken all the aftermarket values that CovrPrice has captured in 2021 for each comic, summed them up, and one overall total gives you the general estimate of how much money was spent on each comic last year. We also included total units sold to get a better sense of the market. This is a lot similar to what our friends over at Comic-Con do on a yearly basis. But you know what? I'm going to let you guys go take a break here. And you know what? Why don't we play some music for you guys while you guys go take 2 minutes, man. You know what? Go take a 2-minute break, all right?
Thanks, boss.
Drop some DJ Fresh on you guys. All right. Shout out to all you guys still with us, man. As you, if you were here last year, it took us a good 2 hours, and we're almost finished, boys and girls. We got about a good 15 minutes left, so we are all refreshed now. Hope you guys are refreshed too. Just shout out to all 106 of you still with us. That's amazing, man. That we're going on hour and 45 minutes. So let's go right to it, man. This is the highest volume sold for the year 2021. These are no-brainers. There was a lot of money getting passed around for these mega keys. Yeah. All sales. Let's look at them. Booyah. This is what you came for, baby. These are the big shakers. What do you got for number 10,
Here we
JB?
go. Coming up, number 10 on the list, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 1 from 1960.
First of all, hold on, man. Let me just interject. I better receive some offers up in this bitch.
Yeah, there's gonna be some offers on now. Yeah, King of the Golden State. I want to see your score, King of the Golden State. Let's go. So we had 78. That's it. Only 78 units sold. You ready for this? $1,199,597.
Wow. Let me do the math for you right there. That's
do the math on Amazing Spider-Man.
Whatever, man.
Issue number 1. Here's my offers, man. We've been wait a minute. Steve Suss just hit us with a 1 out of 1. King of the Golden State hits us with 1 out of 1.
You know what? Hey, we need to see proof of life on Instagram. Damn it! I need
proof of life.
I need today's newspaper with your picture and you holding the comic.
You're like, newspaper? What the hell's that?
You know, no, I'm just fucking. I know. Hey, I can't go to say I wouldn't doubt him, man. I seen his collection. He also has an AF-15. So yeah, but yo, this is what these are. This is. I can do the math, and that's a lot. 1.2 million. Wow. 1.2 million for 78 copies. That's amazing. So number 10, damn. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 from 1962. This is the exciting part. This is what I like. This is what the big boy books right here, man. What do we got for number 9?
Next up, we're looking at Amazing Spider-Man number 129 from Marvel in 1974. This is, of course, the first appearance of the Punisher. This sold 496 units for $1,269,871.83.
Yeah, I don't see any bubble bursting anytime soon. You hear a bubble bursting? I don't know.
Is there a bubble bursting? And especially if Barenthal reprises.
He is. He's coming back. Once it gets the Feige effect, this book is. You know what? I traded mine for Strange Tales 110, and I don't regret it.
Do you think that we will ever see? Do you think? Okay. J. Jonah Jameson hires Punisher to kill Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4.
Maybe because J. Jonah Jameson is kind of crazy in in this Spider-Man world. He's more based off of what's that crazy guy that talks loud on what's that guy's name? Yeah, he's based more like an Alex Jones type. You know, he's not the typical like a newspaper editor guy, Daily Bugle. He's more like a crazy podcaster. You know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe he could. Then again, Alex Jones would probably sue me if he heard me saying that. But anyway, number 9 on the list.
The average sale here was for this 129. $2,560 average sale on 496 sales.
That seems pretty cheap to me because you know what,
25 hundo. That's a 25 hundo is a 6.5.
Yeah,
6570. That's 25 hundo.
No, I had a 8.5 that I traded off for my Strange Tales 110. So I don't think I'm ever getting one back any sooner because it's the Feige effect. As soon as Feige touches it, it's going to blow up again. So there you go. Amazing Spider-Man. Man, the year of Spider-Man continues. What do we got for number 8? Oh, duh.
Ultimate Fallout number 4, ladies and gentlemen. It sold 1,371 copies this year for $1.4 million.
The summer of Year of Miles continues, man. But look,
so this book showed up twice. This was the highest money and also highest units.
Yeah. But if you think about it, look at Amazing Spider-Man number 1, only 78 units sold, 1.2 million. Yeah. But for a modern book, that's pretty darn good for a little Miles Morales. And believe it or not, still has room to grow because there hasn't been a live action version yet.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you guys, and this will probably be the last opportunity. Quick poll. Is this its height? Is a 9.8 in this book at $3,000 the height of what it's going to be?
It goes to 5.
We haven't even seen the character in live action yet.
Right? It can't be. Yeah. Where is this book going to go?
It'll go wherever. The market is more robust than ever, and people are spending more money than ever. So once it gets live action, and if it's even popular live action and gets sequels and spawn sequels, and the sequel spawn actual stories that are from the Ultimate Spider-Man storyline, then people are going to start buying all these little. That's why first appearance of Peter Parker and Miles Morales is also a great book to get as well. Yeah. So
9.8 will go to 5, and I'll sell my 9.6 for 3. How's that sound?
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Ultimate Fallout number 4 sold 1,371 copies for $1.4 million. My God.
Wow, he's
all right. Hey, that's a surprise. What do we got for number 7?
How daring.
How daring. The next one up is Daredevil, issue number 1. It's not, you're all stuck here. There it goes. There was only 177 units sold for $1.6 million.
1.7 almost.
Basically 1.7, yeah. So
I want to say this is probably recent too because of the Matt Murdock cameo in No Way Home. For the longest time, this was a big key, but it was somewhat affordable, right? I mean, you can get low to mid grade, like you can get like a 3.5, 4.5 for reasonable, maybe $2-3 grand. But now it's like ever since Matt Murdock showed up in the MCU, once the Feige effect, once Matt Murdock can appear in New York with other Marvel characters, it's just gonna go crazy, man. So Daredevil number 1, 177 copies sold for $1.7 million. Wow. All right, what we got for number 6? Good old Standby.
Next up, we've got the X-Men number 1 from Marvel in 1963, which sold 130 units for a total of $2,389,453.87. The X-Men are coming.
Wow. So far, that is the highest value of this list so far, which will only get higher, I would imagine, but only 130 copies too. Let me see. Only Amazing Spider-Man had fewer copies, 78 with 1.2 million. We're looking at 130 copies at 2.3 million. I mean,
oh my God.
Before, like when X-Men was part of Fox and they did their movies, the book was, it was, I would say it was average. It was reasonably priced. But ever since the acquisition of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, back in the Disney studios and the MCU, the X-Men 1 and FF1 have been pretty much out of reach for your average collector. I will safely say that. If you had them, kudos to you and hold on to these bad boys because it's only going to get the Feige effect. I like to say that. I know, sound like a broken record. Rick, every time I say that, you'll be drunk. All right, so X-Men number 1 is only on number 6 on the list.
Hey, Gabe's back. Let's get him on the next one.
All right, Gabe, you get number 5. We just did. We're doing the big boy shakers, big dollar.
You got to add him to the show.
Oh, okay. Let me add him. There you go. All right, Gabe, you're back. You're back just in time. We're doing the big boy shaker list. We just number 5 for 6. You could do number 5. You up for it?
I'm up for it. Let's make it happen. What do we got?
Boom! Look at the book he gets as soon as he comes in.
Look at this.
This hurts my feelings so much. So Giant Size X-Men number 1 is number 5 on here from Marvel Comics 1975. This sold 502 units with a value of total sales coming up to $2,574,383.11.
I made the list.
What a historic book! What a historic book this book is.
I made the list.
I got a question. I got a question for you guys. I've been doing my daily kind of top shakers, and this book has been coming up almost every other day, and listed as first appearances for Colossus, Storm,
Thunderbird,
Nightcrawler.
No, it does not list Thunderbird. It does not list Thunderbird. So I started mentioning it when I read it, but is this not Thunderbird's first appearance?
Yeah, because the next one,
he dies.
95, he dies. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he's right there in the cover. He's right next to Nightcrawler, right there.
All right, Matt. Sorry to have to call you out like that. We're gonna have to get that added onto the description of the Giant Size X-Men number 1.
Well, unfortunately, maybe they're like first appearance for. There used to be this thing where I on YouTube I did a long time ago is post your comic of first appearance and death in the same issue. It's like they sometimes they last 2 issues, but it's really rare character appearance and then death. It's with villains happens all the times, but look for heroes first appearance and death in the same issue. It's hard to find. But Giant Size X-Men number 1, 1975, 502 total units sold for $2.5 million. Wow, I'm glad I hit the board finally with one. What do we got for number? Whoa!
Oh yeah, I'm taking this one. Ryan's reading. I was. You know what? First of all, before I start, I was thinking this fucking list, and excuse my language, but I'm like, we haven't seen a DC book,
right?
But here we go, the book, Batman number 1 from 1947, whole units sold for $2,647,401. in
That seems
2021.
rather cheap to me. I mean, if unless
Cheap.
I mean, if you divide 2.6 million by 7 million for Batman #1, I mean, to me, somewhere that tells me there's probably a bunch of low grade copies and one really high grade or heritage auction
Divided
that
by
sold.
0.5
That's
happening.
378 grand a piece. What are you talking about?
Cheap.
Cheap.
That's that IT money he makes.
This is a book
Oh
from
my
1940.
God.
I wasn't born yet. I mean, my parents weren't even born yet. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you gotta think $307,000 doesn't buy what it used to. It buys a lot less, I guess, of what I'm trying to say is. So to me, it's like, you see the prices for like all these crazy modern books. So to me, $300,000 for Batman #1, why not?
No, almost
take
400,
a second mortgage.
378.
A 0.5,
Almost
a
400.
0.5.
Take a
Get
second
listed
mortgage
for
out in your
30
house and
grand.
buy it. Damn it! It's a bit
Yeah,
of
let
history,
me explain
man.
that to the wife. It's a good investment.
It is.
Don't
Just
go more
wait
than the
till
house will.
Yeah. Just wait till a new Batman comes out. It's going to go up in value again.
Yeah, the new Joker.
All right.
They released the new Joker, right?
Another
Can't wait to
Catwoman.
see. Yeah, I bet you there are going to be some other ones on this. I haven't even seen the top 3 yet.
I've
but
got
I
a
bet you
Batman
there is.
#2.
All right.
I'll
I mean,
take
that's
it.
as close
I
as
think
I'm
I'll take
getting.
this one, right? Since I actually own one of these. Want it, actually. Anyway, next up, number 3, The Incredible Hulk, issue number 181 from 1974. 484 units sold for almost $3 million.
Bam.
Hate to be the guy that says,
And I
No,
won
real-
one of
real
these.
first appearance.
Yeah,
freaking
180
box.
ain't
Yeah,
the book.
yeah.
Who
Sorry.
said that?
It was a Spider-Man
180
booth
ain't
box.
the
Yes,
book.
it was.
Yeah, I'll trade
There's
you
a
a
bug-
180 for a 181 any day.
Yeah, sure.
Ex-
Me
I
too.
own
I'll
one.
trade you. You know what? I'll
I'm good
trade you
with that.
2 180s for
Yeah, it's
181.
whatever the market dictates. Even though it's funny because the argument started again when Hickman did his run on X-Men, and then and I think in the glossary it said like the first appearance of Hulk was Incredible Hulk 180, blah blah blah. But you're
So,
talking about
you know what? It is. But guess what? This is
Even
the
the
book
Marvel
that the
Universe,
market,
I think, said 180.
This is the book that the market wants.
It's whatever the market dictates.
He's
it
on the
doesn't-
cover.
Yeah.
It's a full.
It's an
appearance.
iconic cover too. Look how
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
this is.
Nobody wants a Hulk 180 Wendigo.
Wendigo,
on the
yeah, right.
cover.
Oh.
All right, so it's amazing that we've finally seen this book on this list so far. So Incredible Hulk 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine.
First full.
Almost $3 million in sales. God, I got to think. I have a feeling I know what's on number 2
And
and
it's
number
been selling
1.
a lot recently. I'd say in the last 2 weeks since I was doing the daily, it's been on there almost every other day.
Because
It's
you
one of
don't
the top
need a
5
whole lot of units sold to hit what some heritage auctions hit over the last year. So I have a feeling what's on. I haven't looked at
Oh, yeah. You know it's
for
gonna be
yet.
in
So
number 2.
let's see
This
what
book
number 2 is.
so
Yep.
readily
Yep.
available too.
Bam.
That's what I
Only had
figured.
2 sales.
All right, Jack, it's your turn.
That's
Just
right.
Everybody pass
Cheap,
you up.
cheap Tim, right?
Action Comics #1 from 1938.
Not for 2 of them, no.
Just 2 units, but totaling $4,888,759.20. The granddaddy of them all.
What was the high grade sale that was recent?
I think it was a 9
9.0?
something sold on Heritage earlier this year, and that's it's amazing to me that Heritage had these auctions where you were seeing like I haven't seen it yet, but there was also a high grade copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 that sold in 2000, and I think it was a 9.6 that sold. So let's see what obviously
Go ahead,
this
T-Bone.
is.
Take us home, baby.
Oh, I will read it off since I nailed it. All right.
Golly.
Number 1 on the list for total value of sales for the year 2021. Amazing Fantasy number 15. No argument here. The first full appearance of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Total units sold 52 for a cool $5.3 million. Yes, it is truly the year of Spider-Man. Because I was thinking, I was like, I can guess the top 2 books. It's either going to be Action Comics 1 or Amazing Fantasy 1. Because if you Amazing Fantasy 15, because you've been following the auction heritages, the heritage auctions this year, there were some high grade books that hit like record new numbers. 2021 set record numbers, and I think Action Comics had the record for like the most expensive book for like the longest time, and it was only a 9.0 if I'm not mistaken. And then this year we saw some crazy grades come, but yeah. Summary, these are all pretty straightforward, but wow, what a year for Spidey. It's been mentioned that he's become the heart of the MCU after Tony Stark's death in Endgame. However, we longtime Spidey fans always seen him as the heart of the Marvel Comics universe. So this is just a natural progression for the relatable character. And how about Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in the MCU proper now? That helped Daredevil gain a ton of traction last year among these heavy hitters. Please note the Ultimate Fallout #4 is hanging out with the biggest comic grills. That's pretty amazing that the modern book can hang with these big grills. Let that sink in for a second. It's moved from a dollar bin book from 2012 to now, where it's nestled between the Punisher and the Man Without Fear. Sure, it had a more volume than Action Comics, only 2 sales, but still, see Miles Morales' first appearance on the list is awe-inspiring.
It's a book.
We're not done yet, boys and girls.
No.
Now it's the highest sales volume for variant comics. Here's where things get a little interesting. Rare and expensive variants simply don't have the numbers to rank in the most sold variant list. However, the highest sales lists help showcase the variants that collectors are investing in. However, these variants also have to be easier to find than high price ones that may only sell a few copies a month or even a year. So I already got a sneak peek on it. JB, want to start off? What do you got for number 10?
All right. At number 10, we've got the Young Avengers #1 Wizard World 2005 sketch cover. There was only 95 units sold, but for 73 grand in this book. And this is a modern book, basically, 2005. Come on.
Yep. I got this in 9.8 signed by Jim Chung. Brian even has the rarer 9.5 special CGC Wizard World one.
Yeah, so I really can't say one for one then, because I don't have this book.
Yeah.
But this covers all sales, right? Including graded. So yeah, you're on the list.
You're on the list.
Well,
no, mine. This one, the one I have is
Matt.
different. Yeah, it's different. It's
Matt.
9.5.
Matt. This does not include the 9.5 Wizard World one. So there, you are off this list. Sorry, Ryan. Maybe I'll come back later. Yeah,
maybe. Hey,
you're on your own special list.
Yeah, you're on your own special bus. All right. So Young Avengers Wizard World 2005 sketch variant. I'm glad I got mine when I did. All right. Okay. Gabe, what do we got for number 9? Holy cow.
Oh, I actually have this. King Spawn #1, Todd McFarlane signed 1 in 250 variant from Image Comics from 2021. Total units sold 101 copies with a total value of sales $74,939.41.
I'm confused. There was only 250 of these, and 101 of those 250 were sold on the aftermarket?
No, it was a ratio of 250. Stores had ordered 250 copies to get this. I think it was
1 in
something
250.
Like,
it's a 1 in 250. Okay.
1,695 that were created.
So basically, unless you're a big online store or Torpedo, you were ordering one of these. Like it was essentially a 1 per store variant for regular LCSs, right? But if you could do like volume like Torpedo or Midtown or something, maybe you can get 2. Todd McFarlane, but
a lot of stores just pre-ordered it too. A lot of stores got more than like 2 or 3 because they pre-ordered and pre-sold it ahead of time too.
Yeah. So King Spawn #1. Todd Farler keeps on going, keeps on trucking. He knows what the people like. All right, what do we got for number 8? Wow.
You're muted.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack, it's up to you.
Jack, you're muted. You're still muted, Jack.
Berserker #1.
There you go.
The John Boy Myers 1 in 1,000 exclusive signed by Keanu Reeves. This is from Boom Studios in 2021. Damn. So same kind of thing as that Todd McFarlane signed before it got to the customer. It sold just 29 units, but totaled $75,327.15.
Wow. That is a hell. Let me see.
You won the fucking lottery if you got that book.
95 for 73,000, 101 for 74,000, 29 for 75 grand. John Boy Myers is a dope artist too.
Keanu Reeves, that's a tough signature. He does not sign, so that was a rare opportunity to get his signature.
We don't have his signature on this book either. It's on the picture. All right, we got for number 7.
This is, this book. This is Edge of the Spider-Verse #2, the Greg Land 1 in 25. Tim is cringing because he had it in his hands and he let it slip through his fingers.
Signed by Greg Land 9.8.
I remember racking this when I worked in comic book stores. I remember this first came out. I racked it.
Nobody racked a 1 in 25.
No one cared. No one cared.
Well, I mean, the Edge of Spider-Verse *2. I mean, it started gaining traction when people started like, "Oh, hey, this is first appearance of Spider-Man, and then find out not many people were ordering 1 in 25s that I
Especially
I bought mine. Yeah,
Stores
no,
have to order like 3 months in advance. You had no idea what was happening by the time this book came out.
I bought mine in
even
eBay.
after that book came out. It didn't get immediate heat. The creators of this book are from the Charlotte area, and they used to hang around my LCS a lot. And when they had told us that the book got picked up for its own solo series, that's when like I went hard trying to go back and get Edge of Spider-Verse 2s, and you could still walk into shops and see them on the shelf for cover price. So
I think the only ones I have left are the design variants. Is the only Edge of Spider-Verse number 2.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of fourth and third prints for sure.
yeah, where they just changed like the color on the the top part. Yeah, but yeah, I think this book still has room to grow, in my opinion. When the Spider-Gwen makes her live action appearance, it's a matter of time. I think Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, the Greg Land 1 in 25 from 2014. Man, only 17 copies so far, $80,000. What can be number 6?
Damn. Oh man, we saw this book already. Next up, we've got Something is Killing the Children, issue number 1, the Jenny Frison Unlocked variant from 2019 IDW. 372 units sold for $80,000.
Wow. And then I mean,
got
this book's only this, and then House of Slaughter, and then when it's coming to Netflix, and hopefully Netflix doesn't cancel it after one season, or what they do, or it just can kill the momentum. But when the book comes out before the show, sometimes it can continue its own thing. Remember Lock and Key was hot for a minute, and then Netflix took forever. Did they ever do a second season of Lock and Key?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
Sweet Tooth is another book, right? That DC book that was done that got a lot of press. It was hot for a minute, so
another Netflix.
Why the Last Man, and then that show went away. So that book kind of
supposedly it's getting. They're trying to sell it to another studio though. For Why the Last Man. That book was in development hell forever. Finally got made, and then they stopped it. Yeah. All right. So Something is Killing the Children. Jenny Frison number 1, the unlocked variant coming in number 6. What we got for number 5? I remember this.
Oh man, I have this.
Really?
Gabe.
Amazing Spider-Man number 4, the Roberto Ramos 1 in 10 from Marvel in 2014. This is the first appearance of Sandy Moon, right? Yeah. So total Cindy Moon. 136 copies.
This is the first.
Is that full on Silk? Okay.
Cindy Moon was issue number 1.
Perfect.
Well, kind of her foot in issue number 1, yeah.
Total value of sales $83,727.
Yeah. So remember, way earlier this seems like 2 years ago, but earlier this year it was announced that Sony was doing a Silk live action series, and supposedly coming to Amazon Prime or somewhere besides Disney Plus. I know that, and it was going to be standalone, not connected to Spider-Man, but who knows now? Remember, Sony had said they were going to do a bunch of other crazy shit too, like Madam Web and Silver Sable, and all these other ones. But with the new partnership with Disney now, all those plans could change. But I would love to see, Silk. So Cindy Moon's origin, like Ryan was saying, in Amazing Spider-Man number 1, she gets bit by the same radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker. So that's a cameo. Her cameo is, if you want to say, it's one of those confusing things. She comes out as this, but if you look at issue number 1, actually open up the book and read it inside, it actually shows right after the spider bites Peter Parker, it bites her, and she becomes Silk. Boom, there you go. So there you go. Amazing Spider-Man number 4, Humberto Ramos, 1 in 10. Good to see. I think I have the regular cover of this still pretty stuff, so I'm happy. Hey now, Star Wars makes the list.
Big book here. We're looking at Star Wars: The Clone Wars number 1. This is the Dark Horse limited to 1,000 version. From 2008. There were 19 total sales, totaling $88,799.99.
Yeah, this is 1,000, limited to 1,000 print run. That's pretty amazing. And okay, let's put ourselves in the year 2008. Star Wars: The Clone Wars was on the Cartoon Network, right? It wasn't before even Disney yet, I do believe. And I absolutely love the original Clone Wars series when it came out, man. It really fleshed out the story of the Jedi and the Sith, and there's all these awesome storylines. And then it wasn't until The Mandalorian, really, on Disney Plus, that people started going back, because this is when Dave Filoni blurred the line and says, no, I'm taking what's canon and what's legacy, and I'm putting it all together, and so we can get live action Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano, and all these characters that we never would thought would happen, since Disney had said we're drawing the line of what's canon and what's legacy. That line is blurred, so anything is possible nowadays. So that's why Star Wars: The Clone Wars #1 is so awesome. Only 19 units sold for $88,000, y'all. That is not too shabby at all. Somewhere Justin is really smiling right now.
Yes,
he is.
He probably has 20 copies. Shit.
Yeah, I bet he does.
I saw a post he posted today of, it had to have been 30 issues of Darth Vader #1.
Yeah. Isn't it cool, though? On the cover, it actually says 1 of 1,000 copies.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, what do we got for #3?
Well, hey, let's talk about Darth Vader. So Darth Vader #3, the Salvador LaRocca, 1 in 25. This had 96 sales, and it totaled for $103,725. Good old Afra. Is she coming?
Yep. I got one of these up for sale on my eBay. Go check it out.
It's been almost 7 years, and we still haven't really seen Afra show up. That's interesting.
I have this one, and I have the regular cover, as well as I think it was a Halloween or something reprint where they had done Dr. Afra. I'm trying to remember one of those, but yeah, I definitely have this. But yeah, this is one of those things where first time you see Dr. Afra show up in live action, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before, and it's going to happen.
It's going to be unobtainable at that point.
Yeah. Good for me, bad for you. So Darth Vader #3, the Salvador La Roca, 1 in 25 variant from 2015. Good God, what is #2?
Boom. #2, we've got Invincible Iron Man, issue #9, the Chris Turcotte Apocalypse cover, originally published in 2016. We had 117 units sold for $158,000.
Wow, this is the Riri Williams, right?
Riri, yeah, this is the Riri.
Wow, I can't believe it was going for so much. For a while there, I thought the Women in Power variant was the one to get, and had Mary Jane Watson on the cover, but it was the first appearance of Riri Williams or Ironheart, one of the two. I'm trying to remember, man. Anyway, I remember getting that one. That was like the hot book for a minute, but that's pretty amazing that Riri Williams' book made this list. 117 units sold for $158,000. Wow. Just like another character when they've already been announced that they're coming. So sometimes people, like I said, it takes people to actually see God for them to believe it, or get struck by lightning to believe lightning is real before they actually buy it. Just like they need to see the character actually moving on the big screen before they go out and buy the book. But, what are you going to do? So
that's okay. Let them wait. I'll have it before they will, and I'll sell it to them.
Let them eat cake and let them eat #1.
Get that FOMO.
Oh,
boom.
Man.
Where's Otto? Where's Otto when you need him? When Otto sold his?
The king, right?
Yeah. So coming up, #1, we got Ultimate Fallout #4, the Marko Djurjevic 1 in 25 connecting variant. Total units sold 38, but that brought in a total sales of $248,728.66.
Another $250,000 to that Ultimate Fallout 4.
And Otto sold his. I think Otto had a 9.2 signed by Djurjevic, and he sold it or something like that. Because I was telling him,
he sold it to King of the Golden State. I think he sold it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, don't sell it. Hold on to it. Hold on to it.
Is that true,
man?
Sir?
Yeah, he's in here. Thanks again, Otto. There it is. King of the Golden State.
He was rubbing it in, man. Where's that?
There you go, bud. Good for you. Hold on to that bad boy tight.
Well, I'm pretty sure Otto got something fair for it. Don't tell us, because we don't want to rub it in on him. Yeah, so there we go. So, summary: Ahsoka, Riri, Young Avengers, and all the first appearances. These are all the rising stars of the Marvel comic verse and the MCU, and just simply the books that seem to have the staying power. These are books rising in value and are hands down some of the best books for a modern collector to have in their collection. Also on the list is the new trend to offer signed high ratio incentives, as seen with Razor's number one's 1 in 1,000 signed by Keanu Reeves, and King Spawn 1 in 250 signed by Todd McFarlane. These both came with a note from CGC allowing buyers to send these in for signature series slab within a specific amount of time. God damn, that's a mouthful. These were expensive buy-ins, hence the high aftermarket cost, but dang, they're cool. And a big round of applause for Something is Killing the Children, number one, Jenny Friesen Unlocked variant, which was the only variant to make both variant lists. Top selling and the highest sales volume. That's impressive, especially what I would consider as an indie book. But, I don't know if you can say an indie book is when it makes that much money, but
hey,
let's get right to
somebody backstream who wants to backstage it wants to.
Oh, hey Otto, we're just talking about your book, Otto.
Oh, I heard it. Trust me, I heard it.
You heard it, huh?
I'm watching.
Hey, every time that book comes on the screen, do you cringe? Do your butt cheeks tighten? Does your stomach get tight?
Point here? Like, trains go east, trains go west, right? But hold on a second. I actually, to defend it, I won that book for $30. Okay, I sold it to King of the Golden State for somewhere around 1,000, wherever he is. All right.
Uh-huh.
I bought an X-Men 129 9.6, and I bought a Tomb of Dracula 10 7.5 with that money at that time. So
that works.
Right.
Well played, my friend.
Okay,
you're still losing. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, dude, I've lost so much in my life it doesn't even matter. But what am I gonna do? I paid $30 for it. I mean, so. That's it.
But
while you're here,
you did really good. You turned that into two major keys at great grades. That's a good.
While you're here, Otto, you want to do some reading?
Yeah, let's see what we got.
Take us home.
You'll start off first then. We're going to do the highest sales volumes for subsequent printings, meaning 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, sometimes 15th print. What do we got for the first one, Otto?
Oh, we got this one right here. This is Star Wars Darth Vader number 3, the Adi Granov 4th print. The purple one right here. 57 units sold. My God. A total sale of $25,681.37. Look at this book right here. A 4th print purple cover. Oh my God.
I have the first print. I don't even think it's worth as much as this 4th print, to be honest with you.
Right.
All right. This is going to be part of my video haul that I do of books that be graded. I have 2 of these, the first print of this variant, as well as the regular cover that are going off to CGC. All right. So Star Wars, Darth Vader, number 3, the Adi Granov, 4th print, purple variant. Shout out to Adi Granov's hot wife, by the way. All right. What do we got for number 9?
Oh, yeah.
All right. At number 9, we've got Something Is Killing the Children, number 1, the 4th print from Boom Studios. Sold 172 copies for $27,000. The 4th print. And what did we say? This was at 8 and going to 9 with David Mack cover.
Yeah,
crazy.
It just continues to grow and grow. And once the series come, who knows? All right. So number 9, Something Is Killing the Children, number 1. Gabe, what do we got for number 8? Wow.
Number 8. I'm seeing a trend here. We got Something is Killing the Children, number 1, 6th print from Boom Studios, 2019. 58 copies sold, with the total sales of $30,911.
Well, Jack, let's go to number 7 and see if the trend continues. Broke the trend.
Second print, though.
That's all right. That's all right. We got all printings of everything Carnage and Venom this year. This is Amazing Spider-Man 361, the 2nd print from Marvel in 1992, moving 181 units for a total of $36,787.30.
Wow, 2nd print of Carnage. We'll see if this one has. Yeah, we'll see if this one has legs, man. I have the Silver Sable first appearance, that 2nd print also, where it's just a silver. This is back in the day when Marvel, when their 2nd printings, they just did a different color on them. Now when they do 2nd printings, it's a totally different cover. But back in the in the 90s, if it was a 2nd print, we'll just make it a different color, or just make a no color, or drab, or silver, or something like that. All right, so number 7, ASM number 361, the 2nd print. Is Otto up again?
Yeah, no, I'll go right here. Oh, who's up? Ryan?
I could go, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ryan. I'm sorry. We always forget about Ryan. There you go, Ryan. Good. You get to say his name. I don't have to say his name.
Yeah. Venom number 3, Ryan Stegman, 3rd print, 158 copies sold this year. And $57,237
This
for
is
the
the book
year,
I have.
baby.
I think people are still hoping for, against all hope, for
Right.
Kano
He can still
appearing in
come.
the MCU. We
I
shall
think
see,
that's
man.
null and void, but who am I to say? Who am I to say?
Touche. All right, Venom number 3. I'm surprised there's more Thor books haven't and Venom books haven't appeared on here, but sometimes when you hype your stuff up too much, it just fizzles out. So, all right, Venom number 3, Ryan Stegman, the third print variant from 2018. All right, Otto, you're up again. What do you got for number 5?
Another Ultimate Fallout book. Come on, you guys. Ultimate Fallout 4, the Sarah Pacelli, the second print right here from 2011. Sold 565 units for a total sales, holy crow, of $93,899.96. Oh my lord! Look at that.
Isn't this misprinted? Isn't this one or one of them supposed to be the third print, and they misprinted it as the second print? Because there's 2 second prints.
Yeah, this one was given away for free to retailers for certain order requirements. I can't remember what the stipulations were, but that's why there's two actual second prints.
And for those of us who've been collecting for a while now, the market was not nearly as robust in 2011.
That was the crash. That was the
You go to your LCS on 2011. I remember, and right around that time, I was specking on Morning Glories. Remember that book from Image when it came out?
Great book.
Yeah, I was specking Morning Glories and Chew. There was another Image title, right? At that time.
Chew was a huge book back then. Hell yeah.
Chew was supposed to be coming to Showtime, but it never got made. For the longest time, I was like, Morning Glory is going to get made. Like, I remember the story. The LCS I used to go to, not Comics, Tunes, and Toys in Tustin, but Comic Quest in Lake Forest, only allowed you to get 2 copies, and they had 10 copies of Morning Glories #1. So I went there and I talked them into selling me 3, and then I had my girlfriend go in there and buy another 3. So I had 6 copies of Morning Glory #1 at this is when the book was still out, but there was on the West Coast we have the benefit of the doubt when on the East Coast it sells out, and then from my shop for some reason people weren't hyped to it. That little comic shop that I go to, or they used to go to, but I no longer go to. It's Comics, Tunes, and Toys is where I go now, but. Ultimate Fallout #4 from 2011. Just think about those were the barren days, boys and girls. All right, what do we got for
who remembers
4?
Peter Panzerfaust?
Oh
that
yeah,
was another one.
That book was huge.
But that book was rare as hell to find too. You couldn't find it anywhere. Hey, look at that. We got a Captain Marvel on the book. Yeah,
Captain Marvel. Next up, we've got Captain Marvel issue number 17, second print from 2013. 29 units sold. That's not that many for 94 grand. Good lord.
I'm telling you,
what's the difference? Is this one of the ones where the only difference between the first print and the second print was it goes blue across the bottom instead of red?
I think this is a totally different cover. Yeah, it's a totally different cover.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the first Kamala Khan cover.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Kamala Khan has a cult following, and when they show when she comes to Disney Plus, it's gonna blow up. So number 4 on the list, Captain Marvel number 17, the second print for 2013. Ooh, I'm getting excited. We're down to the last 3 on the list. What do we got for number 3? Ooh.
Here we go. Number 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, third print from Mirage Studios, 1998. 75 copies moved, with a total value coming up to just below $100,000.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Yes, it's just rounded off 75 copies, $100,000. Then you guys can do the math, man. But good lord,
good lord.
I had first prints of the first 4 magazine size of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I was actively in my LCSs in 1985 at
my first ever comic book as a kid was Ninja Turtles #1, but it's a 5th print.
And I also remember buying the Tick right off the shelf too, first printing. Because I just looked at it, I go, the Tick. He goes, and then I remember the comic shop owner goes. He goes, what do you think people said when they saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Like, okay, boom, I'm going to buy the Tick. Right? Then I'll buy Black Belt Radioactive Hamsters too. It didn't quite pan out as well, but you know how things go. So TMNT, third print from Mirage, 1985, almost $100 grand for just 75 units sold. Ooh. All right, Jack, what do you got for number 2? Hey.
All right, coming in at number 2, one of your favorite and mine, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the second print from Mirage in 1984. This book is older than me, with a total units sold of 43 and a total value sales of $115,202.10.
That Is amazing, and this is I put this on pure nostalgia buy with buyers with disposable income, right? Because Teenage
You can't
Mutant
get the
Ninja-
first print, you get the second print. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's people don't really spec on because let's be honest, the movies are pretty horrible.
The new movies
but-
are garbage. The first one's still
Yeah.
fantastic. The original one.
Yeah, with Casey Jones and I remember, but I was a big fan of the original comics because they were a lot more dark and gritty, and and they weren't the pizza cowabunga guys that
No,
they eventually
they were dark,
became
street
super
hustlers,
popular. All right, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the second print. Is number 2 on the list. Ryan, you get the last one on the list. What do we got for number 1? Hey, now.
Here we go. Miles Morales, Ultimate Fallout #4, the Mark Bagley second print, 750 total units for the year sold, and the sales total 169,207.
96.
196.
Oh, 96. Did my dyslexia kick in?
Yes, it did. Or you're just a perv, one of the two. Yeah, so this is the second year in a row that it's been the year of Miles Morales, right? So that's and we're not even okay.
There's no ceiling on those. There's no ceiling on those books either. They can continue to go up.
We still got one more list to do, and when Otto is here, so we're gonna make him read them all. All right. This was a fascinating list. Team NT had a colossal year again, with the second and third prints of the original #1 hitting new highs. Noel's most popular color from his first full appearance is still sought after. After dropping in value in 2021, fans took the opportunity to buy up the first appearance on long-term potential. Miss Marvel / Kamala Khan makes her only appearance on the list, though we have a feeling she'll take next year's list over. Miles continues to reign, and Something is Killing the Children's multiple printings for the first issue take 2 spots, though we still like the second print the best. Dr. Afra sneaks in with her purple 4th variant in the last second. Perfect timing, too, as her first appearance is picking up right now thanks to some possible hints of her existence in the Book of Boba Fett Episode 2. Spoiler alert! But
Spoiler.
All right, this may be the.
We're not
last.
doing another list,
Let
are we?
Let me stop sharing and then make sure you guys can say hi to people for a second. Let me
Yo.
What's up?
here. Let me see how long the list goes on before I see.
Commit to it.
This is a full house.
I got to work tomorrow. I got to get up at 5 in the
2
morning.
hours and 20 minutes, and there's still 118 people
People
strong.
love lists, man. People love to hear lists. If
Where's the
that's
thumbs up?
something-
Wrong.
All you,
All right,
all you
we're not,
West Coast
this is
everybody,
this is like our last 10. I think we're getting there. So guys, welcome Otto to the show. He hasn't been on the show in about 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it's
My
been a
fault.
while.
Seems like it.
But hey, listen, you invoked it. I'm watching it. I'm paying attention. And then you brought it. I go. I
We invoked his name when we brought
That's
up
right.
that book.
Look at it.
All right.
Shazam.
All right, so let's get right to it, boys and girls. This is the highest sales volumes of newsstands. Okay, so let's get right to it. Otto, what do we got for number 10?
Ooh, we got hot right now. This is the hotness. Moon Knight #1, the newsstand from 1980, classic, iconic cover. You see all of his different characters on there. Total units sold was 346. Total sales of $48,723.53. 1980s goodness right here, man. A 50-cent book. That's
Jesus. I'm trying to remember. Is that Frenchie the cabbie, or was he a cabbie on one of those two? The guy that's
He was a
wearing the
cabbie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
it's
He had different personalities, and one of them.
Yeah,
there's all his egos right there.
yeah. One of them was a cabbie. I thought. I swear to
Yeah.
God, or was Frenchie the name of his sidekick that was a cabbie?
Frenchie
I
was his
keep on-
sidekick, but he was a cabbie.
Yeah, which is
Yep.
so weird. Like, I'm a billionaire. I went crazy. I'm a cabbie now. But anyway, Moon Knight #1, the newsstand, 346 for 48K. All right, what do we got for number 9?
Oh man, another book Otto sold. He sold this one to me. Savage She-Hulk #1 newsstand. He sold me a 9.6.
Otto, what else you got for sale, man?
Yeah, right. It was
After this,
100
I'm not selling anything. I'm dying with this stuff.
All right. 189 units sold for 60 grand. Savage She-Hulk #1
Oh.
newsstand.
This has not even close to hit the ceiling yet. I mean,
Right.
imagine with that little 10-second teaser trailer we saw. It's once live action, it's still got room to just blow up and
And
grow.
this was one of
So-
Stanley's favorites. That was one of
Thank
the
you,
last things
Otto.
that he did.
And that's
Yeah,
still
all
a
right.
book that the newsstand wasn't that high in 1980. I mean, that was
No.
still, or that was a dominant thing. Was the newsstand back then? It wasn't much
Dominant,
of a
yeah.
market.
Newsstand was definitely a dominant. And let's pull up the graphic real quick, Mark. It's not like you guys got anything to do tomorrow. What is it? 1980? Boom.
1980.
Newsstand was still about 80-90% of the market. So there you go. Is it just some people just, they're just believers in it,
Your 1980 newsstand does not impress me. Everybody on Instagram.
All right. What do we got up after Savage She-Hulk? Oh.
All right. So coming up, this is a great one. So Amazing Spider-Man 194 newsstand, first appearance of Black Cat, 1997, 147 units sold, coming in at $65,896.51.
All right.
I
So
sold
for
one
those
yesterday.
For those who
That's
don't
right.
know,
On my slabs, baby.
when the breach was broken in No Way Home, there was a female figure in one of the silhouettes in the breach, and people are saying that it's Black Cat and that she's going to be in the next version of live action Spider-Man. That's
I
why
didn't
this
see that,
book.
but
Yeah, Google it. It's a thing. People have done videos dissecting the shit out of it. One of them is Craven, the guy that's holding the spear.
Yep.
They said they saw Rhino and Scorpion, and and one of them, they also said Black Cat was also in there, and it makes sense. That Peter, if MJ is no longer in his life, they have to do Felicia Hardy, right? That's part of Peter Parker's history. They got to do that. All right.
Aren't they also saying Superior Spider-Man was one of them too?
Yep.
Could be.
Yep,
With the
they did
multiple
show
arms?
that.
With
Yep.
Doc Ock as Spider-Man, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. ASM 194 newsstand from 1979. Boom. My God. Again. What do we got?
This is Spawn number 1.
I think it's Jack.
207
Jack.
Well,
That's right. Go ahead, Ryan.
it's
All right,
207 units sold, 67,510 big ones for the year of 2021.
The book that keeps on looking, man. Spawn number 1 newsstand. Wow. All right, Jack. What do you got for number 6?
All right.
Hey.
Uncanny X-Men number 129, of course, the newsstand variant from Marvel in 1980, sold 139 total units for a total sales volume of $106,910.98.
Do you feel redeemed now, Otto? Since that's
a little
what
bit. I do. Because you know what I'm saying. This is very funny. You say that, Tim, because this is how Tim knows we've been together so long. He knows in my head what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to myself, this still has more legs than that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a multiple first appearance book. This is the future right here. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I still did.
I got to look at my slab. I got to see if mine is a newsstand or not. Because, like I said, majority of the books in the 1980 that came out were newsstands. So, but I got mine slabbed and signed by Chris Claremont. So I got to go peep it out.
Yeah, if you got direct market, man, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
I know. Me and Gabe are going to anti-newsstand on Instagram.
80s and 70s books. Yeah, show me the DM stuff. That'd be great.
All right. So number 6 on the list, Uncanny X-Men, number 129. Otto, what do we got for number 5?
All right. Well, hey, hotness right now. We got more Boba Fett here. We've got Star Wars. Number 42, the newsstand from 1980 again. Total units sold was 169 for a total sales of $108,323.94. Boba Fett's on the cover. You've got the other bounty hunters. This is a classic cover, you guys. I mean, this doesn't get more Star Wars.
I just sold 2 of these.
Is it just me, or do they make Trandoshan look weird on Boba Fett?
I got 2 more if you need one.
Yeah. All right, number 5 on the list, Star Wars, number 42, newsstand from 1980. All right, what do we got for number 4? JB.
Right, number 4, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 252 from 1984. 318 units sold of that black suit Spidey for $129,000.
I got mine newsstand. Amazing Spider-Man number 252. One of the
I've
iconic
had this graded
covers.
so many times. I don't think I've ever gotten anything over a 9 in this book.
Shame on you. I think I got a 9.8 or somewhere. I'm trying to think if it's
In
this
a
one
newsstand?
or the other black cover, one of the two. Yeah, because in 1984, the majority of them were newsstand. Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man 252 newsstand. We're down to the last 3, boys and girls. I promise you this time it's down to the last 3. All right, what do we got for number 3? Holy cow, we have a Rob Liefeld sighting.
Here we go. 1991. We got New Mutants 98 newsstand. First Deadpool. Total units sold 175 copies. The total sales coming out to $145,116.12.
Wow. Never thought I'd see this book on any list, but apparently it's I had 5 copies at one point, 398s, 296s, sold them all before right when the first movie came out, but who would have known Marvel was going to buy Disney was going to buy Fox, and Marvel is going to be doing an R-rated version of Deadpool still somewhere on some type of platform. So I think that's what's getting the sales of this rejuvenated again, if you don't already have one. So New Mutants number 98 newsstand. What do we got for number 2, Jack?
All right. Talked about the second print a minute ago. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 361 newsstand, which we've already talked about this book as well, from Marvel in 1992, which sold 573 units for $237,000, 941 and 31 cents.
Nobody cared about Carnage. Nobody cared about Carnage for the movies. Nobody, I swear to God. Man, it was maybe a $20 book, raw, but, it wasn't going crazy like it was this year. And then I don't know if it will continue to go on to be. I don't know if what's going to happen with Carnage. I mean, unless Feige does something with them, because it was kind of petered out, for whatever you think of the movie. All right. ASM 361. I don't know what the hell number 1 is, but what is it, Darkside Jedi?
Find out, baby. ASM 300, the newsstand variant. Like we saw before, $249 or 294 total units sold for $260,000.
Wow. I think Venom is, of the 2 characters, Venom definitely has more legs. I mean, if Venom ever comes into the MCU, boom, it's going to happen. Always be careful of speccing villains, guys, because Carnage is definitely a villain. Venom started as a Venom, became a hero, anti-hero, and all this stuff, and now they have symbiotes and all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's a lot of room for that to grow. So there we go. And it's not surprising that this list is very similar to the first newsstand list by units. So once again, Spawn is in a sea of Marvel's heavy hitters. Deadpool sneaks into the list with its only entry. Boba Fett, who had a massive year in 2020, just barely makes it as well. Boba seems to be steady right now, but that X-Men 129 is a new contender with the first appearance of Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde. This is just a flare in the comic sky that 2022 is going to be the year of the mutant movement in the aftermarket. You like that, Otto? First, let's see if those Charles Xavier's rumors are true for Doctor Strange into the multiverse of madness. We heard that they would be introducing the Illuminati. If you've been watching Lords Long Box for the last 3 years, we've been talking about the Illuminati coming to live action. So it shouldn't be a surprise to any of y'all that they could be seeing. There was, I think it was a toy leak or some leak of the X-Men animated series version of his wheelchair, the kind of super tank that he had as a wheelchair. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
The hover chair.
Yeah, it was like a hover chair. It didn't really can't even call it a wheelchair because it had no wheels on it, though. So there you go. The 2021 year-end wrap-up. There you have it. 2021 was a year. Well, felt like the same year before it. We didn't even know what to call it. With that said, we were thrilled to hit conventions this year for the first time since 2019, so that felt pretty amazing. What's even more impressive is how the comic book aftermarket not only proved to be pandemic-proof, but had its best year in the aftermarket, in the best year ever in aftermarket sales. I would say the pandemic caused people to buy more books online than ever so because of cons, or so many cons were closed. Comic shops didn't have new stock for the longest time. Remember that? There was a shutdown where Diamond didn't send out anything for like a month or 2.
A lot of stores went out of business too.
Yep. So there were so many hot books. Many of you are probably asking yourself why many books didn't make the list. Well, we wish we could make these lists go 50 books each. No, I don't. But we do But we do like to sleep when we can. Thank you. Again, let's mention how the market has doubled in price. Truly amazing. With productions up and running, here's to an upcoming year packed with comic book content across Marvel, DC, Image, Scout, Dark Horse, boom, and more. Marvel was able to steer its ship content. Marvel was able to steer its content ship in 2021. Hence its heavy presence in this year-end list. However, we can't wait to see what 2022 brings you. With all that, we graciously thank all of you for trusting us and our content and our site, CovrPrice.com. We do our very best to bring you the very accurate sales estimates on all your comics based on actual sales data. As we continue to grow, expect to see more good stuff coming your way. Wow. All right. Still at 106. That's amazing. We're going at 2 hours and 40 minutes right now. And we will graciously put this you guys out of your misery or ourselves out of our misery. JB, any last words since you're going on vacation?
Yeah, man. What can you say about this chat? 107 people at 2.5 hours in. thank you. I can't say anything else. Just thank you so much for all the support all year, and just sit back and relax, because we are going to have so much great content coming forward this next year. It's going to be a great year. Stick with us. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for being here this year, JB, and coming in late this year, but still a very cool member of the community. I've known for a couple years now. Gabe loves 90s comics. What's any last words?
Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. 2022 is going to be crazy, so keep it around and check us out. Follow me on Instagram, Gabe Loves 90s Comics, and Ninja Comics on Whatnot. I got a Whatnot sale happening this Saturday, so Ninja Comics on there.
Perfect segue to a brand new addition to the Lord's Show this year, and a very valued member as well. All of our members bring a very specific skill set, kind of like Liam Neeson in Taken, right? Jack, aka Mr. Bolo, any last words?
Yeah, man. I've really been blessed to be able to jump on here and join you. I wasn't doing any YouTube stuff in the early part of this year. It's been the biggest year for me in comics by far. But it's been such a blessing to come here and chop it up with you whenever I can on Thursday nights and join the Lord's crew. One of the best, if not the best chat in comics. 100 people, like you said, rocking with us for how many hours? Just incredible.
Yeah, going on 2 hours and 45 minutes. Otto, any last words? First time in what? A year?
A year. Well, yeah.
I think you were on a letter show about.
I jumped on the letters a couple times here and there, with work calls, so that's about it. But it was fun to hear that, and I was sitting here watching the show, listening to all you guys talk, and we brought the book up. I said, "Oh boy, here we go!" So just finally great to hang out with everybody. And tomorrow night, 3 Men in the Basement, we're going live at 8:00 between myself and Roger. We have 10 boxed Heroes mystery boxes that they did for the Black Friday that we've been sitting on.
10 of them.
We bought 10 of 5 each. So there's 2 grand prizes still out there. So who knows? But other than that, man, it's just, I'm happy to be with the Lord. It's happy to hang out with you guys and see everybody in the chat. I definitely miss it, but I'm definitely in the back of the house watching everything. So great to see everybody. Thank you very much.
Speaking of back of the house, Darkside Jedi, any last words?
Good night, everybody.
He's like, it's on the East Coast.
I got to get up at 5 in.
I haven't even eaten dinner yet, but shout out to everybody in the live chat. Big shout out to Matt DeVoe, the guys over at CovrPrice.com for helping us with this list. Our sponsors, My Slabs, and also our sponsors, KRSComics.com. Make sure you check out KRS Comics tomorrow for this gorgeous Natalie Sanders variant that's dropping. Use discount code LOTLB to save yourself some duck bones for McRibs. And there's also still this Batman First Queen Goblin cover available on KRS Comics tomorrow. Until next time, I will probably see you guys Sunday for Letters of Long Boxes and Scoops from Mikey Sutton. As always, thanks everybody in the panel, all the Lord's members, JB, and everybody. I was thinking, Nemesis Prime, Manimal, whoever, or on our normal Cover Price show. And see you Sunday. And we'll start off 2022 with a kick-ass new year, and thank you guys all. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and shout out to everybody of our friends that are in the live chat. You guys aren't just followers, subscribers, you're our friends, and so it's always great to see you guys chopping it up in there like on a Wednesday afternoon at your LCS. And as always, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Now let's do this! Rewind, select and come again. Pull up that from the top to the very last. Jump.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? In this you shall know that the Lord is One, two, three, four, five, six, do it! We're here! We're back! Here's to my job! You can't get fresher than this!
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 5 greatest heroes. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
When it comes, I won't even notice. Oh, how so? I'll be too busy looking good.